And I'm Reverend Space.
Fancy music.
So, hello and welcome to a very special Mild Mannered Movie Man Pasty Pale production collab session.
Civil War.
Woo!
This will be our.
Am I gonna set up all the feuds first?
This is either
the first one.
This is either the mild pasties or the pasty milds, whatever you want to call them. 2018.
Yeah.
Talking about a bunch of different awards for movies we saw in 2017. So let's get all the show promotion out of the way. If you want to find us on Twitter, us being Mild Mannered Movie Men, Jordan and I, that's at Mild Mannered Pod. Facebook, you can just search for Mild Mannered Movie Men and email us mildmanneredmoviemen@gmail.com. Jake, you can speak on behalf of the Pasty Pale.
So if you're watching this, then you're clearly on the Pasty Pale YouTube channel, which we've finally surpassed 200 subscribers after what seems like forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is.
If it's not 203,
I'll bring my Switch.
It's 202, so we're one subscriber away.
Still not good enough.
Not yet.
Never good enough.
No, I mean,
So-
203 would be
So
good.
if you're watching this, then you clearly know about the channel. But if you're, I don't know, for whatever reason, this is the first video you're watching, then go ahead and subscribe.
I'm sorry.
I apologize in advance.
Apologize for everything you're
Yeah.
about to hear and everything.
Smash that subscribe
that
button.
you-
Yeah.
Welcome.
Like,
Really
smash
important
it.
to subscribe. It really helps us out a bunch.
Smash that subscribe button so that way you can't unsubscribe, because then you'll just deeply regret
broken.
your decision.
We are
Yeah.
only 800 subscribers away from being able to be monetized.
Yeah.
Hooray!
So, woo! Help us out there. Pasty Pale Productions, we do podcasts and movie reviews and stuff like that. You can also find
On a
me
serious
on...
note, we just interviewed local comic artist and writer Ray Kaufman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Check
just
out
pretty
his-
cool.
Good stuff.
Nice getting to talk to someone about their passion
Craft,
project, and their craft and all that
I
stuff.
mean, he's got all kinds of stuff going on. I would recommend just checking out the interview, or at least checking out his website. I think
Yeah.
it's just Ray Kaufman Art.
Yeah, even if
he's
you
got
have-
a lot of stuff going on, a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
different projects.
Oh yeah, it's, really cool talking to that guy, and the fact that he was even willing to come on to the podcast here was
Pretty
was
cool
fantastic.
happenstance, us meeting him too.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yes.
yeah.
That's
We
the-
literally
that's
just
the
met him
best
in a
part.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And he happened to live in Frankfurt, Canada.
Yeah,
even
Frankfurt,
though we were
Canada.
out of town eating.
Yeah, but
I mean,
check
we're
that
fancy.
out.
We take our meals out of town.
Yeah.
Exactly. So check that
Out
out.
of country.
Show some support his way as well. You can also find me on Twitter at IrishmanJake. I'm not very active on there, but if you follow me, I'll maybe be more active.
Resolution.
Yeah.
New Year's
Also, at Pasty Pale
resolution.
Pro, I retweet a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, Dave is in charge of the Pasty Pale Pro Twitter.
Fantastic job.
Yeah. Well done.
He's
I never thought anybody would say that.
You're getting the recognition you deserve this year, Dave. Like other years, we were just like, what if that Dave guy? But this year,
We just needed him on payroll, but
Yeah.
now he's actually.
That was our first category,
Sure.
the social media award. That goes to Dave. There
I
you
want
go.
to thank God, Jesus, and the Bible.
your Kurt Cobain
hold horses
and-
there, pal.
Praise
Mars,
Allah,
Venus,
uh,
and Mars Ulrich,
Muhammad, peace be
the
upon
men
him.
and the toys.
Yeah, all those people.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got about 22 categories to get to tonight.
This will be as long as the Oscars, if not longer.
Also,
And
I'm-
better.
Commercial breaks.
Also, I'm Rep Spaceman on Twitter. It's just shit posting now.
Also, I think this is going to be better than the Oscars or Golden Globes and all those other stupid
It's not
award
hard to
shows.
More than likely.
It's
True.
really not hard.
So,
All you gotta do is
Yeah,
hit
so-
record.
yeah.
We're
So,
drinking.
retweet this video to the Oscars and be like, they're better than you, Oscars.
Time's up.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The Oscars time is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for us. That's our time.
Yeah.
Really, surprised and touched.
Cue the
with
John
a
Cena song.
lot of Hollywood.
Da-da-da-da.
lot of Hollywood types are getting behind us finally.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have any classical music to play us off on every category, so we'll go as long as we need to.
We just
So,
used a bunch of old Jamiroquai songs.
I could probably look something up.
just
Really
virtual
wanna
insanity over and over. So we're gonna try and get the negative categories out of the way and kind of ramp up towards the more traditional Oscar categories.
So I'll have less and less to say as we go on.
Yeah, if
It'll
you're here
speed
for
up.
Dave, then you'll want to stick around for the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode.
Just get that out of the way completely. You won't even know I'm here in the last half hour.
So I think the best way to do it will be we'll kind of take turns who goes first, and we'll list off our nominees for every category and who we select as the winner. And if there's any discussion to be had, we'll do it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll keep going. So I'll kick things off with the worst picture category. My nominees this year are Baywatch, Death Note, Transformers: The Last Night, The Mummy, and Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. This timeless honor is definitely going to go to Baywatch.
They
When
really fucking hated Death Note.
Me too.
Death Note's really bad too, but
Didn't see it.
It's
don't bother.
It's as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh God.
Yeah, in a
All
lot
right.
of the very same ways.
Except for it has Willem Dafoe, and he's great. But the
Willem
rest of the
Dafoe
movie
is
is
good,
pure
yeah.
trash.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine Baywatch being worse than Death Note. I'm sorry.
it was. It is
Kind of.
anti-funny and hurt my feelings because of how bad it was. In fact, if Jordan and I weren't going to discuss it, and I hadn't gone on like using a rain check ticket or whatever at the theater, I would have walked out. And it was only myself, my wife, and sister-in-law in the theater, so we made sure to laugh at it as much as possible. At the movie, not with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Baywatch, worst movie of 2017. We'll just kind of go around the table. So, Jake, go ahead.
So I too have Baywatch and The Mummy. Those are probably because I usually try not to see, like, if I intentionally know something is like that bad, I try to avoid them unless they're like so bad that they're good, like Gods of Egypt, the masterpiece of last
It's just a
year.
good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah,
adorable.
The Mummy and Baywatch are two of my nominees because both of those movies were absolute garbage. So yeah, those are my two nominations. Jordan.
I had a lot, but I'm gonna keep it short. I had to pick one Matt Damon movie, so I'm going with The Great Wall.
Poor guy.
I'm going with The Circle. I'm going with Collide, The Space Between Us, and Birth of the Dragon.
I haven't seen.
Oh, the
Yeah, and they're
okay.
really bad.
They really
I've
buried
seen
that
any
movie.
of those.
Yeah, I'm doing you a favor and saying don't watch any of those. They could all be winners in my eyes, but eeny, meeny, miny, mo, we'll go with The Circle.
All right.
Really, worse than Baywatch and The Mummy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Death
Wait.
Note for me.
That's it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Kind of surprised you didn't say one, but I had Lemon. It's a movie I don't think anybody has seen. I don't think anybody should see it. Also had Death Note and Baywatch and Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh, that's right. That
It was an absolute disgrace and offended me as a big fan of. I grew up with Batman the Animated
Yeah.
Series, and it was Bruce Timm, and I kind of hate Bruce Timm now.
I changed my mind. I'm going with that one.
Ooh.
Okay.
No, I think since
Little
movies I was
drama
had
early
Baywatch,
on
yeah, it was just utter garbage. I mean,
I've-
the only good things I can say about it is Kevin Conroy was in it, and the art style is
Mhm.
like the same as the animated series,
Yeah.
but it's also equally as insulting.
There is a
It insults the
5-minute long
entire-
fart joke,
Yeah,
and the one farting is Harley Quinn.
and there's a big dance scene and fart jokes, and it's just ridiculous.
There's no-
It's
Sounds like the
offensive.
BFG.
There's no ending. Like they end
Oh,
with the big fight about to happen, and then Nightwing and Batman both kiss Harley Quinn on the cheek,
Oh.
and then it's over. And then there's a post-credit scene. I'm sorry, I know this was yours.
No,
There's a
please,
post-credit
please.
scene.
I
Another
don't disagree
Reverend
with
Space
anything you're
Rant.
saying.
There's a post-credit scene where Harley Quinn has a fucking TV show, and it's like a weird Dr. Phil thing where she's sitting down. He's like, "What's your problems?" And the guy's like, "Well, I thought about killing myself. My life's really awful. I hate everything." And she's like, "Well, you get to go through an obstacle course and get to see a real therapist."
What?
I'm
All
not.
right, I don't want to watch it
lying.
now.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend anything less.
I'm not
Is that
exaggerating.
your winner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I think collectively, I
Like,
think we all had Bay,
Yeah.
or most of us had Bay, more of us had Baywatch.
yeah.
These are all bad movies, so
Yeah.
I really can't.
So if you
argue
haven't
a
seen these
lot.
movies,
Skip
don't.
those.
Bruce
Yeah.
Timm shouldn't write.
No, he needs like Paul Dini or somebody to bring him in.
Yeah.
Baywatch has Alexandra Daddario, so that's why
That's
it will
kinda- yeah,
still.
we'll give
But
it-
yet
Old
she
school.
was.
in it nearly
She
enough.
was. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
barely utilized.
That's
It's
how
like,
the circle is with Tom Hanks.
Harley Quinn was voiced by one of the bitches from The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
There you go.
Some bad movies.
Wait, did you choose one between Baywatch and The Mummy, or are they co-winners in your book?
they're kind of co-winners because like The Mummy killed a franchise, like a whole cinematic franchise.
Cinematic universe.
Yeah. Whereas
Universal
Baywatch,
monsters.
Baywatch, I'm sure they wanted to be a franchise, but it's kind of like if it's a one and done, then fine. And yes, it was awful. Like there were no funny bits whatsoever. But like The Mummy just had no idea what it was doing. So many like different tones, and like the fact that they even like built like a separate part of the studio on the I think it's Universal like lot where like it's all the Universal monster themed like offices because they were like, this is gonna be the biggest thing since like Marvel. But the movie
tried it a couple other times.
yeah, but
It
like
just
the
works,
movie
so.
tanked, so now the offices are completely empty. So it's like that's kind of depressing for all the people at
Hollywood in a
Universal.
nutshell.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to make Tom Cruise bad, and the movie made Tom Cruise bad.
Yeah, and this I do like the fact that they at least cut out his weird scream because the first trailer, like there was no sound at all. I don't know who greenlit the trailer. There's no sound. It was just him awkwardly screaming, which I'd never heard Tom Cruise scream. So I was like, what is this? What is going on? So yeah, they're both co-winners for me in Worst Picture, but I'll accept Baywatch as the worst.
Okay. Well, let's move on to category 2 of the night. Biggest disappointment. I'm going to let you go first, Jake.
So, my 2 nominees would be Kingsman: The Golden Circle and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
What?
Good choices.
Thank you.
I don't recall you being that down on
Yeah,
it when we
like-
saw
It-
it.
Not as good
it's-
as the first
I
one.
liked it. I liked it initially, but then like the more that I kind of thought about it, and then I rewatched it on Netflix, I was kind of like, yeah, it's just not nearly as good as the first one.
So is that your winner, Guardians?
I don't know. Let's go around the table
Okay.
and we'll maybe discuss it
Minor
more.
All right. Jordan?
All right, I have a couple. They aren't terrible movies, but just I wasn't high on them. Murder on the Orient Express, The Dark Tower, and Thor Ragnarok. I'll go with Murder on the Orient Express as my winner.
That's fair.
Is this the last negative category?
No, there's
Yeah.
one more.
Disappointment.
No.
Thought we
There's
What?
most overrated.
Most overrated?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's our third negative category.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So for, I guess, most disappointing, I'll say War for the Planet of the Apes. And I don't even dislike it.
Mhm.
It just didn't
Yeah.
live up to the other two.
Gotcha.
It's a real letdown.
That's
I've
fair.
also got War for the Planet of the Apes, and of
I
course
considered
Star
it.
Wars: The Last Jedi.
That's going to be all over these categories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be.
Positive and negative.
Yeah.
All right. So did you have a winner between those, or they're co-winners?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. Honestly, I don't really know which one was more disappointing.
They're both winners in your eyes.
Okay, they can be co-winners. That's fine.
They're both like very weak links in trilogies or franchises I enjoyed. So,
Gotcha. So my nominees for biggest disappointment were The Mummy, which, even though he screamed in the trailer, I thought the trailers looked cool for it, honestly. And I was on board for it because I figured if they got Tom Cruise, then they must have something good.
Again, it had a really good cast,
So-
and that's one thing that I was like, this probably can't go wrong, right?
Right.
wrong.
Yeah, totally wrong.
Atomic Blonde is another big disappointment for me. The overly complicated plot for no reason and just not that great. The Fate of the Furious, because I love the other entries in the series and it
Care
sucks.
less.
Haven't seen a one.
Me either.
You're missing nothing.
Ride or die.
I like The Rock.
Disagree with three of
Ride or
you,
die.
and I agree with Jordan. Kingsman: The Golden Circle for being an absolutely forgettable sequel. With,
I'm cool with that being the overall
Yeah.
winner.
And
Didn't
of
see
course,
it, but I didn't even like the first ones.
my winner for the category, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. What a
We know.
massive disappointment.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to beat that dead horse. So,
we'll get to that.
yeah. So, Jake, you got to pick a winner now.
Yeah, I think Kingsman: Golden Circle would probably be the biggest disappointment because with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, even though I wouldn't say I dislike the movie. It's just that I felt like it was a joke machine gun where it was just kind of like, hey, here's a joke, here's a joke, here's a joke, and it's like.
You mean like all the Marvel movies now? Or?
Unfortunately, yes. Like a lot of them have just become like joke machine
Star
guns.
Wars included.
Yeah.
Davey throwing shade.
And it's kind of like you don't have to keep
Like,
inserting
it's
jokes here and there.
problem.
Like have it happen naturally. And there were some like kind of natural like funny moments and stuff like that. But like Kingsman: Golden Circle felt like if this was not directed by Matthew Vaughn, I would have expected this to be the sequel. But it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who
Right.
at this point has not had a miss at all, in my opinion. Like I've loved all of his movies, so I'm kind of like, what happened? Did he just like half-ass it? Was he not on set half the time or something? So yeah, Kingsman: Golden Circle I think was the biggest letdown because the first one I thought was a fantastic kind of spy movie, but also a little on the nose, like kind of satirical in a way. But yeah, Golden Circle is just like, what is this?
I agree with everything you said.
I haven't seen it. I probably won't.
Yeah.
I agree with most of these picks.
It's skippable. So let's move on to our last negative category,
Aw.
presumably. Most overrated. And Jordan, you can kick
All right,
us off with
another
that
one where I had a lot of nominees, but narrowing it down, I've got Spider-Man: Homecoming, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Greatest Showman, and Okja.
Again, didn't see quite a few of those.
Yeah.
I disagree
None of
with
these are
Spider-Man.
none of these
but-
are necessarily bad movies,
Figured you
but
might.
just overrated and hype wise and.
No, it's all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't even
Yeah.
necessarily. Because I've got two that aren't even necessarily bad movies, but I think they're overrated. I think they're overhyped.
I'll go with Greatest Showman as my winner, though.
Yeah, it had no business being nominated for a Golden Globe.
Beauty and the Beast.
I agree with that.
Fuck that movie.
Talk about your theater experience real quick.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I hate children. I love abortion, like, so much. I think we need more.
I didn't mean that.
No, I'm getting to it.
Not
so,
where I thought it was going.
So,
That's
15
why you
minutes
watch.
in.
and the reason I think that is
You're not going to
because
see that at the Oscars.
No, you will not.
Casey Affleck's not going to get up. He's not even going to be there.
No.
He's not going to get up on stage and be like, I love abortions.
He's gonna come as the ghost from a Ghost Story.
I
Tommy
hope
Wiseau might.
Was he even the ghost half the time?
Good
About
guess.
half the time.
Was he really? I just assumed they got some extra or something. to
Yeah,
come
for
in,
some
so
of
they
it.
didn't have to
So
pay
yeah, I
him.
was at the theater and there were these this fucking kid right behind me, just speaking all like, is it? Oh, he's the Beast, isn't he, mommy? Are things happening, mommy? What? I just like turned around and just loudly shh. And
A la
like,
War for the Planet of the Apes.
yeah,
as well.
I did it in Planet of the Apes too. People, don't bring
That was the best part of that movie.
don't bring your fucking kids to movies, cause I'll kill them.
So did you murder this kid? Is that what you're admitting here
Crossing
on,
to something right now?
here on the Pasty Mom?
So yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's it? Okay.
I feel very strongly about that. All right, Dave.
Alright. Thor Ragnarok. Spider-Man Homecoming. Get Out.
Oh. Oh.
The last two are questionable.
I don't.
I said the last two aren't necessarily even bad movies. I just thought they were overhyped.
Okay, that's fair. Get Out.
Honestly, mainly because Get Out was nominated for an Oscar, and why?
a lot
Diversity.
of Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mic drop.
With no
Mic drop.
purpose behind it besides that.
Mic drop.
That's a
Which
cut.
is empty and kind of insulting.
Who's
They're
your
trying
winner?
to not insult. I would say Thor, just because like people and critics in general just are like heaping praise on it, and I just don't get it.
I like Justice League more,
I do too.
I didn't even
Justice
love
League's
Justice
way
League, and
better.
I like Justice League better.
and I don't even dislike Thor 3.
I think it would have been a better Guardians movie. It just didn't make sense for the character.
That's
I
the
didn't
point
think.
of it.
But,
I agree.
yeah.
For me, I've got Thor Ragnarok as a nominee, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Star Wars The Last Jedi, because it's critically overrated.
I thought about it, but there was like, I feel like there's just as many people that hate it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then kind of in the same ballpark as you, Dave, where you have some that are good movies, but I consider them overrated. Lady Bird and The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
What?
I love-
Both of those?
All right, I'll
Yeah.
I'll explain why I put them on the list.
I could
like
see Lady
Hank Hill's
Bird.
dog.
Well, I can,
I can
honestly
still
Killing
see
Sacred
Lady
Deer.
Bird, but I love it. So
Okay.
Yeah, I like the I love Killing of Sacred Deer.
Look at her, she's
The more I thought about it,
baby,
like, I
Bobby.
don't know, it was just a surprising
It was a
black
very good
comedy.
movie.
Well, I think
I think it just took me off guard. Is probably why I liked it so much.
that director / writer for The Killing of a Sacred Deer has back-to-back movies that people love that I don't much care for.
He did The Lobster, right?
Yeah. Which
I
is
I don't
appreciate
care for The Lobster,
What it was,
but-
but I wouldn't see it again.
yeah. I don't get
Dogtooth is better.
I
Haven't
don't
seen it.
I don't get the praise for like everyone says like it's meant to be surreal, but it just seems like bad acting to me for everyone to be wooden statues of real people. But anyway, that's my main criticism with that.
Part of the comedy.
I don't see. I
Maybe
don't
it wasn't as funny as I found it to be.
see. I don't get any comedy out of it, so that's probably why I don't
thought-
like it as much.
Yeah, it's black comedy, dark comedy. So
Yeah, it's.
that's what it's centered
Okay.
at.
Too dark for my taste, I guess.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Turn on
at
the
all.
lights, man.
Yeah, and then for the reason why I put Lady Bird on there is because to me it's like an above average coming of age movie, but it still falls.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, it still falls into all the same like coming of age movie tropes, I think. And although like Saoirse Ronan has one of the best performances by an actress this year, which she'll be in my best actress category and probably some of yours, but
Good.
like. It still doesn't like set itself far enough apart for me to be like, okay, yeah, 99% of the critics that watch it should like it. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I
fair.
don't know.
It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was well done.
So out of those, I would actually go with, I think Thor is the most overrated because it is thoroughly mediocre and not as good as everyone says it is. So
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast is awful, but yeah, I get that too.
Okay.
all right, Jake.
So there aren't a whole lot of movies where I was just like, absolutely like, yeah, it's overrated. Like, or at least the movies that I saw. Like a lot of the movies that I saw, I thought were kind of adequately rated. I can kind of get behind like the Spider-Man: Homecoming, even though I like the movie and I do like it. Kind of makes me more. I don't know. Like I was kind of burnt out on Spider-Man, but then Civil War, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm down for a new Spider-Man movie after like
Sounds good.
See, I was kind of burnt out on Wolverine, so I think that's kind of.
But like with Spider-Man: Homecoming, even though again I liked it and I thought Michael Keaton was a good villain because they at least Marvel I feel like have been stepping up with their villains more so than previous movies. But
Not saying a whole lot. But
No, but
it's an effort.
But the fact that they're making effort now is like, okay, great, he stood out. But at the same time, like so many people are kind of like, oh my god, it's like one of the top Marvel movies. It's like, well, let's not go that far.
I think its weakest point is that it is a Marvel movie, more than a Spider-Man movie.
A bit, and again, like I
That's
still,
my biggest problem.
I
with
still
it.
like Tom Holland as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But again, like overall, I'm like, yeah, it's a good movie, but it's not like so many people were praising. It's like this is like the best definitive Spider-Man movie.
I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's just,
But yeah, like I think a lot of people are just like kind of waiting to like be like, this is the definitive Spider-Man movie, and it's like, again, I liked
I
it,
feel like
but I'm
anytime
not.
something like that happens, everybody just jumps
Yeah.
on the bandwagon.
But no,
Just
it's not.
completely forgets anything that came before.
To me, it's still not the definitive Spider-Man movie. I still really like the first two Raimi movies, but yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming might be maybe the one that I would say is the most overrated.
I don't think Spider-Man 3 is even as bad as you remember it to be in general.
I would say if you rewatching them before I did the review
I
for
did,
Mild.
yeah.
You
You're
take
right.
out Topher Grace and all the Venom stuff. It's not some of the dance. Well, yeah, the dancing is the Venom stuff. So
The
That's
Yeah.
my favorite part.
The dancing is
It is the
supposed
best
to be cringy,
part,
though.
but it wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be.
It achieved
Yeah.
its desired effect. You're supposed to be like, oh god, what? No, don't.
yeah, again, take out Topher Grace. I think it's not that bad.
I like it.
It's still the worst.
Even
of the
with
three,
Topher
but-
Grace, I like it better than Amazing 1 and 2.
I don't.
I don't know if I'd say like.
Not Amazing One.
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth with Amazing One, but
At least Spider-Man
But it
3
made-
had a
yeah.
sense of identity to it, whereas 1 and 2 are just like, we're doing it again because
yeah,
want
Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is complete garbage. but
Yeah, I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah.
First, I mean, you have to try really hard to make Jamie Foxx look that bad. But yeah, the first one I kind of go back and forth. I enjoyed it a lot initially, seeing it in theaters, but on my more recent rewatch, it was like I still like it for an entertainment
Yeah.
value, but it really just is a hollow product.
So I guess what's our definitive collective winner
What are we
for
doing?
most
At least-
overrated?
Probably Thor, right?
At least
we
two or
had-
three for Thor.
Yeah, we
so-
had 2 votes for Thor Ragnarok. So
Yeah, I think we had you were Thor too.
No, I was Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I know, but
I
thought
agree
you
with
just said
Thor.
that, like, yeah.
I agree
I
with
picked
Thor,
Thor.
but yeah, Beauty and the Beast is a worse movie that got better reception, but I'm okay with Thor winning.
okay, so just to recap, since we didn't really do that for the first 2 categories, worst picture are kind of
Nobody's
Group-
paying attention anyway.
group decision was Batman and Harley Quinn, since I had the most choices. Biggest disappointment goes to, well, it's a tie between War for the Planet of the Apes and The Last Jedi. And most overrated, of course, Thor Ragnarok. So now let's go to the inverse category of most overrated and go to most underrated. We'll go ahead and let you go first, Ro.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
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 I still haven't seen it.
It's
It's
Yeah.
so good.
it,
Yeah.
it didn't make its money
Quit making
back
that
for
face,
some
Dave.
reason.
Stop.
It's just as good as like
It's better than
It's
it
not.
had any right to be, but it's still not that great.
Okay.
it's not great, but really good, and like it just made no money because like it was.
Which is weird because
Like,
it got
every-
pretty good reviews.
Every movie that's not a superhero movie was sandwiched between two superhero movies and just
Yeah.
didn't have a chance. It seemed like so. Yeah, Power Rangers was pretty good. It's better than a good chunk of Marvel movies, I think.
Yeah.
In the same category, I don't like it as much as Pacific Rim, but that's neither here nor
I don't know
there.
why anyone would like Pacific Rim.
It's
Well, we'll get
it's
to that.
overrated.
Stop you there.
Pacific Rim is
Overrated
great. It's
by
a
a lot.
masterpiece.
Though there is something it has in common with one of my most underrated movies, though.
All right.
Did you have any more?
Is
Is that it?
no, that's it. Go ahead.
I like that one.
My most underrated, I think some of you aren't going to like this, but The Killing of a Sacred Deer. 'Cause I hear nobody really talking about this movie. Blade Runner 2049, because again, it's like, maybe, spoiler alert, like maybe the best movie of the year, and
Thank you.
like nobody saw it. It
I still haven't
tanked.
seen it. I
It was a
want to.
bomb. It's
You
amazing.
liked it?
Yeah,
It's incredible.
It's a hell of a
It's
movie.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, then Phil, I
One
think
thing
you
we
might
can all
agree with
agree
me
on.
on this one. King Arthur: Legend of the Sword. This is not an
I-
amazing movie by
I
any
agree.
means, but I feel like this, even if this came out like 4 or 5 years ago, this would have been like a really popular,
Yeah.
just summer fun. I mean, I
Agreed
like Charlie
completely.
Hunnam, I like
Yeah.
Jude Law.
Had a really good cast, and I like Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
I like Guy Ritchie
It's
too.
it's not his best movie, and it's
No.
not. I kind of have issues with the whole big CGI battle
Yeah.
at the end, which everybody seems to do now. But again, like overall, I had fun with that. I enjoyed it well enough, and I don't really see all the reason for all the hate that it got.
Yep, I agree with that. I think King Arthur was pretty underappreciated. So, did you have a winner out of those?
Honestly, I think I would just say King Arthur, just because of there's reasons there. It didn't deserve all that hate.
Good
And
job.
honestly, maybe in a different year, different time, it would have done better.
So, my nominees for most underrated would be Super Dark Times, which is
Never heard
Still
of it.
haven't seen it yet.
it's an indie movie.
I mean,
Just-
I heard you guys talking about it.
Yeah, I stumbled across it on Vudu.
Our one listener.
It's on Netflix
Dave.
now.
On Netflix streaming currently. So go
Yeah,
watch
see,
that.
Usually before I watch, you guys have at least 2 or 3 downloads before I get to it. So.
There you go.
Oh,
So-
well, yeah,
Different
I guess that
devices.
makes sense.
Gotta cover your bases.
Phone iPod.
So it's a really solid indie thriller. Really good cinematography. I don't really recognize any of the actors in it, so just go watch
Can be a
it.
good
Agree
thing.
completely.
Yeah.
It's set in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, grunge era.
I'm there.
Justice League, which I consider way better than the critical reception that it received.
Yeah.
Sandcastle, which is also a Netflix movie. It's
Never heard of it.
it's
Still need
that-
to see that one.
I can't. His name's on the tip of my tongue, but the guy who played Beast, Nicholas Hoult,
Oh, okay.
is the main character, and it's about him trying to get out of the army and then kind of getting sucked back into a combat situation, and stuff happens from there. The Survivalist, which if you look it up, it says it came out in like 2015 in the UK, but it's a 2017 release here, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got a 2016 technically.
Yeah.
One of mine, or 1 or 2 of mine.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
But yeah, it's a really solid movie. It's got like 3 actors in it. It's just really intense about a guy in some kind of unexplained
One of those
post-apocalyptic
Shia LaBeouf's
situation.
wife or something.
Mia Goth.
Yeah.
And
They're engaged or something. I don't know.
Let your
Partners.
dreams be dreams.
another nominee I
Agreed
had
on it.
was Hounds of Love, which was from
Kind of go either way on that movie.
Australia, which
Never heard of it.
it was a very intense watch
Yeah.
that I wouldn't recommend for a lot of people because
No, yeah.
it's really messed up in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I can appreciate how well done it is, and like, I don't know, the stuff that I guess would probably bother most people. Didn't really bother me as much, but at the same time, I don't really know that I would watch it again.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like 12 Years a Slave or things with other like serious content that I don't want to sit through again. That's how I feel about that. But since it's an Australian movie, I haven't heard a word about it.
Cool accents.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty horrifying in a lot of ways. Deals with a couple that abducts like teenage girls and does unspeakable things with them. But my winner is
Like the commentary.
Super Dark Times. I thought it was a really great movie and way up there in my top list.
I haven't seen it, so
Netflix streaming.
comfortable
Go
with
watch
that.
it, everybody.
Yeah, I saw it on there, but I haven't gotten
I'm
around
glad
to
it
it.
popped up on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
Saw that
I'm gonna
the
watch
other
it
day.
again. Jake.
So I agree with both Dave and Richard's choices of Power Rangers because that
I didn't
was
choose Power Rangers.
But
He said he's
Both.
agreeing with both
Yeah.
of our choices.
Let the man
okay.
finish.
Yeah.
Both of the separate choices that we made.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Pay attention.
I'm tired,
I-
wasted, and I love you, darling.
We're done professionally.
I did really enjoy
Oh,
Power
fuck.
Rangers.
See,
I don't know.
And King Arthur was one of those movies that I was hearing like kind of negative things about before I saw the movie. But then I saw it, I'm like, it's not great.
It's like,
but I'm like,
screw it, I like Charlie
this
Hunnam.
movie is not bad.
Let's
Like,
screw.
like if
Give
it
it
had
an opportunity.
if it had done better, like and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do sequels. I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm done for sequels.
I mean, you could tell they wanted to do
Yeah,
more movies.
I think Guy Ritchie said he wanted to do like 7 of them, which might
That
be.
seems a little ambitious.
But he's not- it's not-
They
I
said
think-
that about Power Rangers
Yeah,
too.
and I think that's part of the problem with any franchise. Like, don't announce you want to do like a billion of these. Like, just do one.
Like
make
The
sure
Mummy.
it's good. Yeah, make sure it's good,
And then-
and yeah,
We've
then
got
go
the next
forward.
12 films planned.
I would dig.
Well,
more
that's not
Power
going to
Rangers.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be down for more Power Rangers.
I would see
Yes.
7 Power Rangers
Just don't
movies.
care. If
I'll
they made
stop-
another one, I'll see it. But
I'll stop watching
don't
after
care.
after they do Power Rangers in space.
Yeah.
I'll be there
Rangers
midnight
is good.
showing.
And then if we're going with, I guess like
Power Rangers 8.
early 2017 release, then I'd maybe go with Live by Night because that was another movie where I'm like, that was getting like bad reviews, and I'm
I
like,
liked it.
it's actually a good movie. It's
What
not
a
Ben
forgot-
Affleck's
What a
best,
forgotten movie.
I haven't
a
seen
year
it.
later.
Yeah.
Just totally forgot.
but
Al Fanning was great.
I thought it was a pretty good movie. Had a
Per
really
usual.
good cast. Again, not like the best movie Ben Affleck has directed, but I'm like, it's still a good movie. I don't really get all
It's not
the
bad.
bad criticism
Not bad
for
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got Personal Shopper,
That came out in 17.
the wide release.
That might change a few things.
Yeah,
Never mind.
similar to Raw and a few other films we've discussed. It was.
I didn't realize that came out.
No, yeah, it was premiered at the like in 16 at a
Raw.
festival,
I thought it came
but
out in, like 15.
no. The wide release, theatrical release was like March and April. That's when I
Right,
saw
okay.
it in theaters.
Okay, wow.
So that I have Ingrid Goes West,
Yes.
Super Dark Times, like Phil, and a movie that I don't think anyone saw, but I wanted to mention it, B-Trats.
It's my favorite.
So
All
yeah,
those-
I knew you would like it.
Yeah.
Everyone I know has
All
seen
those
that movie.
bees, like bees, man. They're all over the
Wrong
place.
hand.
A lot of indie dramas there.
bees.
So.
I've actually not heard that
Super
movie,
Dark
so
Times. I echo what Phil says about that movie. And
I echo Ingrid Goes West.
yeah, Ingrid Goes West really good. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is the man.
Oh, you'll hear about him again.
Ingrid Goes West is on Hulu streaming currently, by the way.
Oh, cool.
So go check that out. I haven't seen
have
it yet.
Hulu, but
so.
Steal
Steal someone else's
pretty
Hulu. Yeah.
And I'm also cool with Power Rangers because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much between Power Rangers and
Super
Super,
Dark
Dark Times.
SDT.
Basically,
All right, so you're kind of the.
you guys want to be a deciding factor there?
Well,
I'm
We
gonna go
haven't
with
seen it. so-
Power Rangers just because I haven't seen
I'm cool with Power
the other
Rangers.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
that's-
put
That works
Power
with me.
Rangers
There you
years.
go.
All right.
I wanted it to get some love. I didn't think it would win, so I'm really happy right now. I could give an acceptance speech, but I'll
It's
hold
the only
off.
award that movie's gonna win. So.
That's the first one so far
Meet
that's
me
got
after the
3
show.
votes.
Should brought my Power Rangers toy.
So the most underrated film of 2017 is Power Rangers.
Yeah.
All right, if you say so.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
3 out of 5.
Next
Yeah.
up is our best theater experience
3 and a quarter.
of the year.
Of course, I would start this one.
Yeah. So Dave,
Because
kick us off.
This was honestly my hardest category, probably, because I don't really have. Here lately, I've had some interesting experiences in the theater. I wouldn't say any of them were necessarily positive. I know I talked to Jake about this a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just like when I saw Shape of Water, there were like some teenage girls that came in like halfway through the first act and were being loud and obnoxious.
Did you kill him?
No, there's actually
was tame.
there's a guy a couple seats down who like shushed them, not as good as he was actually like super polite about it, and then they ignored him and then he went off to get a manager or something. They left pretty soon after that. No, I'm pretty sure they were just sneaking into whatever. They clearly didn't care about being. I don't even think they knew what they were in. And then there
A
was
bunch of cunts.
You said it. Yeah. Then I saw Molly's Game. There was just some guy who was high as a kite. He came in like halfway through the movie with some woman and literally just walked. I was in the very back row. He literally just walked around the entire theater. Went past me. Sorry, dude. And 10 minutes later, they might have left. I didn't really pay attention after it passed me. It comes back again, does the same thing again. 5 minutes later, maybe not even that much this time, comes back, does the same thing again. And I thought about going around telling somebody, but somebody else left like right after his last.
Is this in the town we're in currently or another theater?
I think that was Cinemark.
Gotcha.
Yes.
These don't sound like best theater experiences.
No, I couldn't really think of. I mean, besides like it didn't come out this year when we went to see The Room. Technically, it's wide release. But
but it's been.
That was a really that was a really good crowd. But the only thing I could really come up with is Blade Runner 2049, just because it's such a spectacle on the big screens.
Perfect.
As far as like memorable watching experiences in the theater, that's the most positive I can come up with.
Gotcha. I kind of want to share bad theater experiences before I get into the best one. So the two worst I had this year. One, I came in 10 minutes late to It.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
So I missed the opening scene with Georgie and had to look it up on YouTube later.
One of the best parts for sure.
The theater was absolutely packed and pitch black at the point that I came in on. I also bought, usually I don't get food, but I was starving. It was a lunch thing, so I got a box with a pretzel in it. Mm-hmm. I go to sit down because I see about 3 rows in, there's an open seat right on the aisle. And so I kind of feel my way to the seat because I can't see it all. Hit the person in front of me in the back of the head with the box of pretzels. Sit down and about elbow the drink out of the cup holder of the person next to me that I had not seen previously and didn't know was there until I smelled perfume. So I sat there quietly, and then as soon as the movie was over, I got out of there as quick as possible. The absolute worst theater experience is partially due to the audience and partially due to my body being crappy. So I went and saw 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. It was packed because apparently old people have nothing better to do.
I saw it before. I think it was getting all the awards buzz.
Yeah.
Like I guess the one weekend or something it was playing nearby. It was mostly old people there.
Yeah, I mean, like the last couple times I've been to the theater,
there?
it's been insane. Like the lines almost out of the door and the lobby, both for the post and the 3 billboards. But
all the awards movies now.
Yeah. So I had to sit like 3 rows from the front. Everybody, like, they laughed at every word that came out of the people's mouths, and it's not like it's a darker comedy, but it's also not
too. Yeah.
It's not something you just like slap your knee and laugh at, but they sure were. And anything that was said that was like outrageous or off color, which there's plenty of that in this movie.
Which I appreciate, actually.
There was a guy like 2 rows back that would be like, "Oh, geez," and like start laughing. So I wanted to murder him with my bare hands.
Understandable. I think this guy would have done it.
Then due to medical junk, due to medical junk going on 5 minutes before the end, I had the first panic attack I've ever had, and that was fun. So that was my worst theater experience. So on to
I think that takes the cake.
Yep. So on to the best. My first nominee is Dunkirk, because as soon as like the first bullets started flying, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great," because it was so loud and the sound was so great.
I actually wish I would have seen that in the bed. I just saw it at a local theater here. I still enjoy it.
Sound was actually good at
yeah,
that
I was
theater.
I did too. Yeah,
That might be my biggest surprise of the year.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have gone up and seen it
For rating
in a
theaters.
bigger theater because I feel like it would have been even better. But go ahead.
Blade Runner 2049 is another one. So I agree with you there, Dave. I saw it the last day before it went out of theaters at the Discount Theater in Lexington.
I really wanted to get up and see it again, but
Yeah.
Lexington, Canada, right?
Yeah, Lexington, Canada.
Obvi.
not Kentucky.
Yeah. What's that?
It was me and one other guy. This particular theater is not stadium seating, so it's just like a random auditorium. So like
That's fine.
the movie started almost 15 minutes late because they forgot about us. So considering how long the movie is, no other crowd in there, and the type of theater it's in, I shouldn't have had a good time with it, but it was phenomenal. And then Spider-Man: Homecoming, just because like the crowd was really into it, especially you get the reveal with Michael Keaton and the whole crowd gasped. Baby Driver, because it was a ton of fun in the theater.
I did have an experience with Baby Driver, if I may interject.
Okay, go ahead.
I went and saw it at.
Saw it with Kevin Spacey.
I wish. He's a great actor. I don't care if he hits on me. I'd be flattered, actually.
What if he's
Burn.
physically hitting on
Probably
you?
not his type. Yeah, even better.
How's that black
It's
eye,
like-
by the way?
From
I
falling
mean,
down
you
the
can't
stairs.
even see it now. So, like Kevin Spacey did this to me.
You
I might just punch myself again so I can tell people. I don't know. I saw it at the movie tavern. If any of you listeners have that in your area or something similar.
They're great.
But where I was sitting, my seat didn't work. So,
Huh.
That's why you got to switch over to B5.
Well, yeah, I told the waiter guy. He was just like, "Yeah, you should come near like the beginning of. I guess it was near the end of the month or something." And it was just like, "Yeah, we usually have somebody in here at the beginning of the month. So like, if you come near the end of the month, you're probably gonna get broken seats."
That's.
I wasn't really
good.
complaining. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I feel like I should let somebody know.
Yeah.
And the last best theater experience I had was Wonder Woman, because again, like Spider-Man, everyone was into it and had a great time and clapped afterwards, the whole 9 yards. But I'm gonna give it to Blade Runner just because, like, the first example I can think of off the top of my head is Interstellar, where it was just such an engrossing movie that I just like left my life and was in the movie
Yeah,
for
oh,
lack of a
yeah.
better thing. So
I thought
yeah,
you loved Interstellar.
I wish I'd seen it in theaters actually.
it was
It turned
phenomenal
me
in
on
the
to
theater.
the-
It was.
Yeah.
No, I was True Detective that turned me on reconnaissance, but then I was full on Interstellar.
Not even. What's the movie with Terry Bradshaw? Failure to Launch. That didn't sell you on
I don't think I've
Matthew
seen it.
McConaughey.
I will now. I'll see it
Okay.
now. I'm down for any
The movie's about my
McConaughey.
life.
Yeah. All right, Jake.
So Baby Driver was one of those where the movie was just fantastic, like all around. And there's one of the few movies, like like even movies that I enjoy. Like I'll usually leave the theater and I'm like, yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Baby Driver is one of the few movies where I left the theater like with just a big grin on my face. And I'm like, yes, this is what movies is about.
Same.
Also, Blade Runner 2049 because as long as that movie
Ooh.
was, I didn't feel the link
No.
at all.
No.
Movie tab.
The
Like when the-
longest movie of or the longest, I guess, theatrical release of 2017.
Yeah, but like when that movie ended, I was like, oh, it's over. Like it was just beautiful.
I felt the link a little
Beautiful
bit, but it
movie.
didn't bother me. Like I was like, this could still go on
Yeah.
another hour.
But and the fact that like you could argue we didn't need a Blade Runner sequel after all this time, but somehow like the movie is just as good, possibly even better than the original. It's just kind of like, my
Yeah,
God.
to say for fair, to be totally fair, I would need to rewatch the original again.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of leaning towards it's better.
But yeah, the fact that it's still like he was able to recapture like the magic and the feel, everything about the original, to where like you wouldn't think that it's been 30 plus years since the original. You're just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a direct continuation. Like they shot this a day after the original.
Ryan Gosling once again doing the best
yeah.
movie of the year.
So
You did
those
it for
would
me
be
last year with La La Land.
those would be my two, and I'd say collectively we'll probably say Blade Runner, and I'm totally fine with that.
Nothing wrong with
Still
that
got
at
a
all.
couple more to go.
Yeah, everybody's got to speak, Jake.
I again have Baby Driver, just like everyone else has said. A lot of fun in the theater. I have Raw. I think Dave's the only one
You saw
that's
that in
seen
the
this.
theater?
Yeah,
Where did it play?
Indie Theater in Louisville, buddy. That's where I
I'd love
see
to
a
see
lot
that
of.
in theater. I
Yeah,
love
that's where I
that
see a
movie.
lot of those, and there was a lot of old people in there,
Which-
so I was
which
expecting
theater is it?
Village 8. I was
I think I
expecting.
saw. 'Cause my
That's where I
sister
saw
really
Killing
wanted
with
to
a
see
Sacred
it.
Deer too.
My friend Dahmer.
Yeah,
And
I
then
saw
actually,
Killing with Sacred Deer, and I was gonna go see Dahmer afterwards, but the times didn't match.
there was a
up.
guy who stood up near the beginning who said he was one of the producers, and they shot it in like his Dahmer's childhood home. Like it was
Yeah.
cool, but I don't really believe that you're the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people were talking to him. He was milling around outside. And I mean, it's a very small
Yeah.
theater, and like, which foyer, whatever you want to call the little area out in the middle. But anyway, I believe it a little bit more because after the movie, we noticed a bunch of people gathering around some kid. And I'm pretty sure it was one of his friends in the movie. So I don't know if he's more of a local actor. I looked it up afterwards. I think he's from New York or something. So I don't know if he's got family around. Or, I'm pretty sure that was the only place it was playing in Kentucky. Maybe in the surrounding states. Maybe why he showed up. But I just didn't really want to. It was a school night, so my sister had to go to school, and I'm sure I had to work the next day, so I didn't really want to bother waiting around to meet him. But I mean, that was kind of cool. So I might actually replace my theater experience with that one.
Yeah, and then I was just waiting for the people's reactions of all the weird and crazy things that go on in that movie. So it was
Were there
entertaining.
A lot of people
Yeah, it was actually packed because
love to see
the
that
theater
in
itself, there's not many rows.
Yeah.
So you got to get there early if you want a decent seat.
Yeah, it was
So I
kind
got
of
there.
like, this theater kind of sucks.
Yeah, I got there. I like it just because it's kind of classic, if you know what I mean. Just like,
I mean, I eased into it, I guess, but I was just very taken aback by
the
it.
first time I went, I was like, yeah.
Like a great deal on popcorn,
But
though.
it's a discount theater, so. But I've kind of grown to like it in that way where it's
I would go back if
it's
there's
art.
something I
It's
wanted to see,
definitely
but
an art house theater, so I frequent
I
that one.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I frequent that one pretty often if I can, depending on what they're showing. So I wanted to see everyone's reaction with that, so that was fun. But my winner is Get Out because I saw it the Thursday night. It premiered packed at Cinemark, and not only was the movie really fun and awesome to see on screen, but usually you get distracted and with people talking and screaming, but it fit in perfectly with what was going on throughout the plot in the movie and the way all the tension builds up. So like halfway through, I'm like looking around and hearing all these people talking. I'm like, I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit. This is enhancing the experience and the movie itself. So that's why to this day I'm still really high on the movie,
I
just
never
from
saw it
that
in theaters,
theater
but,
experience. So
If
that's
I had, maybe I'd have.
that's-
And I
I
like
would've
the
loved
movie.
that really is my winner just from that theater experience because most fun I've had all year.
There you go.
Cool.
So it's
and
great.
Blade Runner was great too.
Yeah.
Just a lot of other ones that you guys have mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, this
So
isn't
it's-
even necessarily about the movie itself.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And I also
because
have a lot of
mine-
experiences with old people.
I have a few nominations, but I have a winner. Honorable mention to The Room because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a wide release. It was fucking
It was,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, it was beautiful when we saw it the
Because
first
of
time,
the-
but there was like
Yeah.
nobody in the theater. But now that people knew about it,
Yeah.
there was some guy that, like, when we were on the way in the theater, he's like, I don't know who he was talking to. He was like, I'm going to see The Room for the first time in the theater. I was just
Yeah.
like, I wish I could recapture that.
Well,
that
we did
feeling
see
again.
it for the first time in the
I know,
theater.
yeah. Much
yeah,
better crowd that time.
Honorable mention for that. I think my other nomination is going to be Samurai Cop, which is was a riff track, but it was the first time it had ever been shown in theaters.
Counter.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a riff tracks live thing. It's always a fun time.
Yeah.
But my winner is Transformers 5.
Wow.
Do tell.
Yeah, I saw that with you in the theater for some reason.
Well,
I get why you enjoy that experience.
We're not talking about the movie itself, just
Yeah.
theater experience. It was me, Dave, and another friend of ours, former
Mr.
coworker.
Tuggles.
Yeah, Mr. Tuggles. we
like 3 people that would get that will probably never listen to this
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
Me and Dave snuck in alcohol, and he legitimately bought it like a fucking pansy. But
Like a beautiful young gentleman that he is.
so we were just laughing at all the stupid shit because it's
Mark Wahlberg was great in that movie.
Mark Wahlberg
Oh,
is amazing.
Just happening it up
Yeah.
all over the place.
Okay, so
Nomination for lead actor for you?
obviously, but spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg pulls a sword out of his dick.
You think he's kidding, but
I'm not.
not technically he's not. Like it's not as obvious as that, I guess, but
It's what happens.
what happened?
It is a decent summation of what happens. So yeah, there's that. There's like a. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't recapture it. But
I don't
like,
think I could sit through that again. That felt like the longest movie ever to me. That felt like the longest
It was
movie of
very
2017.
long for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah.
It's the shortest one, isn't it?
yeah, it's the shortest Transformers
Obscenely
movie.
long.
Still
Also
long.
made
Yeah.
like the least money out of a bunch of them. But
Good.
People finally caught on. These aren't good movies.
Transformers
even
6.
in
next year.
China. But yeah, we saw that. We were all
Last
just,
Jedi.
we
It
were
was a bomb in China.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
yeah they haven't
They're
figured
not
out
showing
China
Solo
yet.
either.
Again, they're
so they say.
Is the U.S. showing Solo? I haven't heard
Probably
anything
not.
about it.
No.
They'll be on at Village 8.
We'll see.
Yeah. But
If it comes out, I'm gonna say that. But
Transformers 5 was great because we were just a bunch of slightly buzzed people make fun of this really stupid movie. Anthony Hopkins,
when there's
like,
some,
said,
you got people to leave or something.
yeah, there were some people sitting like a little bit down the row from us, and like, cause we were laughing fairly obnoxiously, I would say. And,
I don't think anybody cared because
it's
did anybody want to
Transformers.
see this movie?
I did, but
not totally like seriously.
It's-
You would have been pissed off if people were doing the same thing.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, these people like were sitting down the row from us, got up halfway through and left. Like they
It
were
might be because they didn't like the movie.
They
It
were
could have been because of us.
No.
Apparently, they were like glancing over at us, kind of giving disapproving looks because we were laughing at Transformers 5.
Shame on you.
The nerve.
All right. So I guess our winner there is Blade Runner 2049
Yeah.
overall for
I
best
want
haven't
that
theater.
movie
seen
to
it.
win as many
It's
awards
out
as
on
possible.
Blu-ray and
So
stuff now. So
Well, it'll be nominated for quite a few more in my
Yeah.
list. So
let it begin.
let me go ahead and kick that off. Our next category is I didn't really know the best way to name it, but basically a movie or a performance that you viewed as like an instant classic or something that's instantly iconic.
yeah, I didn't know about instant or performance.
Well,
Makes me think a bit more on it, but
Okay.
whatever.
Well,
Whatever.
you got four people
Yeah.
ahead of me. You got it. So I've only got 3 nominees for this. I decided to just go with movies instead of performances. But Blade Runner 2049, I think, is instantly it's an instant sci-fi classic. It is an instant horror movie classic, and
For some reason, didn't think about that, but I agree.
yeah, and Skarsgård is
Oh, he's great.
instantly an iconic horror villain.
For a whole generation.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna.
Yeah, and my last nominee is Wonder Woman because it's the best iteration of the character and a great movie all around.
I have some issues with the third act, but
Just ignore that. Keep going.
I mean,
I like the movie. Just
Yeah.
have some
Oh,
issues
stop.
with the third
I
act.
mean,
You
Stop.
there's
did
there's
you
some
like the movie?
flaws.
Yes, but
Did you like
No,
the movie?
one word.
You've already heard it.
Yeah,
I don't have to
one
say it
word.
again.
Confirmation.
I could go into
This-
more details, but
No.
This was a very very tough choice between Blade Runner and It for me.
You know the right answer.
I think
Runner.
I'm gonna give the edge to It. All right.
No.
Uh,
Actually, they're both good.
Yeah, I'm giving it to It because of
Blade Runner
The-
will get plenty, so
the fact that it has
From us, at
the
least.
iconic villain and the fact that it did such a good job of following up, the TV movie. And I don't know, like, yeah, it has its flaws. It's got too many jump scares and stuff like that. But like all around, it's one of those movies that like. Just on first watch, I could tell that it's going to be something that horror aficionados will watch every Halloween or whenever. Like it's that kind of movie. So It is my winner.
yeah,
Jake?
I could almost guarantee both of those will be classics in their
Yeah.
respective genres.
Yeah. Again, Blade Runner 2049 is an instant. Like, I feel like it's already become an instant classic just because.
Anybody that's seen it, it's
Yeah.
like it's incredible.
That's just the problem, getting people to see it.
The sci-fi genre has a lot more
Yeah.
iconic things to fight with. Like the horror movie, like
True.
it just walks in and it's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
But also, like, again, like even with the original Blade Runner is, and even though it took a while for that to become a classic, it's still the fact that like,
Well, it had 30 years.
yeah. But even with 2049 though, like the people who did see it, again, like everyone, like I haven't heard really a single negative thing about it. Like everyone's just kind of like,
Huh?
really
Besides its financials, I haven't
yeah,
heard anything
that's
negative
that's
about
really the only negative thing about it. And again, it kind of ran the risk of like, okay, we're making this really expensive long movie based on a cult classic, but again, my
it. I didn't
God, did they
expect it
deliver?
to just do Marvel numbers, but
No,
I thought it
but
would do better than it
Yeah.
did. I mean, you've got
it-
Gosling alone, and Denis Villeneuve
Yeah.
is still riding high off.
Yeah. and I think it
Will
will.
that name Arrival?
You know, it might make its money
I like
back,
Arrival.
like on Blu-ray and on demand and stuff like
I have
that.
some issues with the third act.
But Yeah, Blade Runner
I'm
2049,
just
like
kill you one of these days, Dave.
I'm surprised no
It-
one
it-
has.
Should have killed him when he was a kid.
and again the fact that
Didn't,
like
didn't know me then, so
I should have aborted.
That's your fault.
but the fact that again no one was really asking for a Blade Runner like sequel, but the fact
Lots
that
of
this
people were asking for a Blade Runner sequel.
I'm sure that's probably true. I didn't hear any of them, but
right, like I guess
It's
the fact that
nothing you would bring up
Yeah.
in like a
I don't know if
conversation
a lot
in
of people would even
1996.
really
When's the
think
next Blade
about it.
Runner?
I don't think people would think about it.
yeah,
really.
but the fact that like again 30 years later,
Just like
you know,
Dune.
Denis Villeneuve was kind of like, yeah, I'm,
Dune. That
yeah, he's gonna
he's
Denis
gonna
Villeneuve,
do.
yeah.
it's like no one asked for that.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that like no one was
barely
really
recognized it as a thing.
like people would probably be okay, like you know, people were like, oh, yeah, I'm down for a Blade Runner sequel, but like no one was
like
like,
people would be don't do a Blade Runner
yeah,
sequel.
exactly. But like the fact that he did it and pulled it off so spectacularly, it's kind of like, yeah, this movie is pretty much
I
already a
think-
classic,
I'm
but
sure Jordan would know this, but didn't Harrison Ford say it was the best script he's ever read?
Yeah, something because he wasn't going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed to do it unless the script was really good and Deckard, his character, had you know, an appropriate storyline where he wasn't, you know, the main guy.
Yeah.
You know, they had the Gosling character
He really
in
was.
there.
I didn't expect him to be huge in it, but
I thought he
was
would
much
appear
less than I thought he would be.
sooner, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, I
He
mean, his
came
scene,
in as
his
late as he did.
stuff was
Yeah.
powerful.
And he was still really good and,
Yeah.
and
Like,
awesome.
I
in all
imagine-
the scenes he was in.
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.
that's what sold him, and that's what greenlit the whole thing.
so imagine like when he was first approached, he did his he pointed and was like, look, look, I will not be the lead in this movie. And then of course he read the script, and was like, look, this is a really good script, I'll do it.
All right, Jordan, you're up.
Blade Runner.
What?
I really don't need to say the rest of mine because I'm going to choose
think
that. But
yeah.
as I said with my theater experience, I had Get Out on there as well, just with all the acclaim it received afterwards and how much it took off and was a surprise hit. And I also
Actually,
liked
don't
it,
disagree about that.
but I got to go Blade Runner.
Look,
That's
classic.
I
And
mean,
now he can say you should have seen it.
I
It was pretty-
I just
could
want
see
to
him making
clarify.
money back in like voodoo and sales and stuff.
Blade Runner is a much better movie than it. It's not even
Yeah.
the same
Oh, yeah.
ballpark.
I mean, I
But
still
like,
really enjoyed
I picked
it.
it just
It was
because
also
Yeah.
like
it's a horror classic.
people knew it would probably be a good movie, but
Yep.
they didn't know what extent.
that
And
good?
Yeah, I was surprised at
Since
how
it is
well
a-
did.
reboot or remake, if
Yeah.
you will. So
That's fair.
it's quite good.
All right, Rip.
I'm gonna have to say Wonder Woman is a nomination because that's
Quite
like
good. Quite good.
yeah. No matter what happens, that movie's gonna be remembered as up there with probably Dawn or Superman.
And not getting any Oscar nominations,
Yeah,
Which is kind of surprising.
which is
it's almost like the Oscars are
Should have
little
gotten
bullshit.
one. You don't
What?
say.
They've still got a little bit more credibility than the Grammys.
I would also say
Yeah.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, just because Tom Holland being the best balance of Peter Parker and Spider-Man we've had.
I wouldn't even say that.
Well,
Agreed.
You're not saying it. I am. So it's okay. I'm gonna say Split a little bit too, because that's Matthew McConaughey playing a fuck ton of characters.
McConaughey?
Whatever.
James McAvoy.
Not the same person at all.
I want to see that movie.
McAvonisance.
I'm slightly impaired.
That would be amazing. I want to see that movie.
My win goes to the Disaster Artist.
Okay, that's another one I didn't really think about, but
James Franco is as good at being Tommy Wiseau as Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. But he's really good. I wouldn't go that far. But
I did.
you're
So
right.
it's
you
okay.
did.
This is his list.
Oh, for God's sake, Dave!
Okay, so obviously, if you wouldn't have guessed Blade Runner 2049, and then Raw, 'cause I really like that movie. I don't think enough people even really saw it.
Nope.
But it's my favorite.
And it's on Netflix too.
It's my favorite cannibal/zombie movie,
by far.
even though it's not really a zombie. It's
Well, I wouldn't
flesh
say
eating
slasher. Say
movie, I guess.
yeah, best cannibal movie.
I think I was mixing Matthew Vaughn and.
I don't care. I want to see this movie now.
Yeah.
There you
Go
go.
ahead.
So I guess
That was
our winner is Blade Runner 2049.
Look, it's Blade Runner 2049.
There's pretty good sequels.
Yeah. That's
Get
an
off my
instant
plane.
classic.
Thank you,
All right.
Richard Nixon.
That is good, Nixon. All right.
I'm not a crook. Look.
With false nass.
Yeah.
That's my future career.
My-
Just Nixon impersonation.
My Nixon voice is based on Futurama.
No. That's fine. All right, our next category is most surprising performance. So, Jake, you're up.
I like this category.
Ooh, most surprising performance. Let me see if I wrote that down on my list or not. I don't think I did. I will say, like, even though, like, I knew he was a good actor, it's still the fact that he played. I'm gonna go with Split. Even though I didn't care for the movie, like James McAvoy, the fact that he was able to play.
You mean McConaughey?
Yeah.
McConaughey. Sorry. The fact that he was able to play, like,
Surprised you don't know Matthew
He's not
McConaughey's
going to touch
filmography
you
better.
anymore.
maybe I'm impaired. But the fact that he was able to, because I know initially when we saw the trailers for when we saw the trailers for Split, we were like, oh, let's go see this movie because it looks so bad it's gonna be good. And it was a competently well made.
No saving that.
James McAvoy, that's my pick.
All right, Jordan.
I've got Ansel Elgort in Baby Driver.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Brooklyn Prince in The Florida Project. And my winner is
I wanted to say
Robert
that, but
Pattinson from Good Time.
and here
Really-
he's actually pretty good.
Like after
Yeah.
Twilight, he was doing good
great.
stuff.
Yeah.
But like I saw a couple, I didn't see all of them, and I thought he was good and improved. But I don't know, just for some reason, Good Time really is what captivated. And I didn't think,
Yeah,
hey, this is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I believed he was
Cigars
that guy.
aside, I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did great in The Lost City
Yeah.
of Z as well this year.
yeah. I mean,
so.
yeah, he's a solid actor now, so I'm not gonna hesitate to
And I
watch
don't
stuff
like-
that he's in.
If I didn't know he was in The Lost City of Z beforehand, I might not have known that was him.
It took me a while to
Yeah,
recognize
like you
him.
Because
said,
he's
yeah,
got this
I was gonna
huge
say.
beard, and
Yeah.
unless you were like really paying attention, I don't know that you really would have known it was him, which is a big credit, certainly.
Riff.
Matthew McConaughey Split.
All right,
The director's cut, or
Yeah, the Shyamalan. The twist is that he was McAvoy all along. Or
Yeah, he
Whatever.
looked like.
yeah, me and M. Night Shyamalan.
Better get going before you're in.
All right.
Okay, so I have Robert Pattinson
Real
for
fit.
both Good Time and Lost City of Z. I don't know if
Okay.
that's cheating. I've got Jeremy Renner for Wind River because,
Nice.
like, again, I knew he could act, but this is the best I've ever seen him.
No, he's
Granted,
great.
I haven't
Especially
seen
in
him,
that leading role, he's
yeah,
the
I haven't seen him in
the
a
big dog.
whole lot outside of the Marvel films. But yeah, no, I think he was. Yeah, this is his best. Yeah, I liked him in that.
And The Town.
Yeah.
about that.
But yeah, I think it's his best role that I've seen. Certainly, I was really impressed with it. And Adam Sandler in the Meyerowitz stories.
He
Nice.
was
He
great.
hasn't been good since Funny People, in my opinion. But
To
and
be
he was
fair, he never
actually-
tries.
Yeah,
Not yet.
Yeah, it's more of a.
yeah, honestly, yeah, he's one of those guys that's you kind of forget that he's.
Look
he
at my
actually
buddy. I
acts.
don't need to
Yeah.
try,
Yeah.
Dad.
No, yeah, I was actually really impressed.
Stop looking at me,
didn't
Swan.
think he cared enough anymore to try it that much.
Is
The
that
movie
your winner?
itself, it's not bad. It's kind of hard to toss up between Pattinson and Sandler.
McConaughey?
Pattinson kind of because no, I mean, again, as I've said, I'm
Well, you
on
know
the
Sandler
McConaughey
can
camp.
act. Did you
Yeah.
know Pattinson could act before that?
I'd heard,
Water
but I
for
didn't
Elephants.
believe it.
Yeah, but that wasn't the movie that was like, oh, I'm sold. Like
Ah,
I was
that's
for
fair.
Good Time.
Well, and
Remember Me.
Though I
Come
was from personal shopper, I was already a little bit like tearing down my bias against the Twilight people.
Thank you.
The,
Though
the Shyamalan twist of Remember Me, spoiler alert, is that it's a 9/11 movie.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that twist.
I don't care. I just think that's
I
funny.
don't. I,
just
haven't
think,
even
I just think
seen
that's a funny thing for
the
me
entire
to say.
movie, but I just kind of like that. That's the twist. Like you think that's a whole different movie, and you're like, oh, it's a 9/11 movie. Cool. But
It was
anyway,
a 9/11 movie all
yeah, I think I'll go
along.
Sandler for right now.
Okay. So I've got 5 nominees here for most surprising performance. Daphne Keane and Logan, because I think
Okay,
she's a
yeah.
first-time person, and she
And a
went
child actor at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she went toe to toe with Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, which is impressive. And most of her acting was physical acting, which was also super impressive. Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman, because I had very serious doubts up until the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah,
That's
because
honestly
models,
fair. I didn't know if she could carry the whole movie.
models usually don't translate well into
I liked her
acting.
in Batman v
Hey,
Superman.
no,
Greg Sestero was a model.
Yeah.
That he was.
Checkmate. Atheists.
I'll go with Owen Campbell.
Lost me there.
Owen Campbell in Super Dark Times, because I didn't recognize him, and he was great as the leading actor there. Bill Skarsgård in It, and Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. This is a real tough one. I think I've got to go with Gal Gadot, because I legit didn't think she could pull it off, but she, I've got full confidence in her now. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Gal Gadot. So, I guess probably our winner then is James McAvoy McConaughey.
James McConaughey.
Matthew James McConaughey.
Thank you to the pasties and the Maldives.
All right.
I'll be back for sure. Glass, whatever it's called.
Please put him in that movie.
All right, Jordan. So you get to kick off the most emotional scene category, and
I'm
I'm
in trouble with this one too.
excited to hear what you got for this.
I don't have feelings.
So nothing for you.
Yeah.
So this is gonna stir some feathers, but the Luke and Leia encounter towards the end of The Last Jedi.
I didn't even think that was
No,
honestly my
it's
favorite part of the
emotional.
movie.
Because that, as far as we know, that's going to be their last scene together. Technically, he's not there.
Honestly, I thought it was a nice tribute. It was a better tribute to her than the whole Superman thing.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that I found a lot of closure with that one. I know no one's seen this, but the Florida Project ending is on there. The stronger car scene, you
Yep.
know what I'm talking about.
It's on my list. Yeah.
Wanted to see it because of John Hall.
And yeah, those are the main ones. I'm gonna go Luke and Leia because I'm a Star Wars guy.
I didn't think you liked Star Wars.
It's all right. Wrath of Khan's better.
All right, Rob.
All right. So it's most emotional scene or just movie?
Whatever you want.
Scene.
Yeah, I
but-
would
Scene
Scene, whatever
preferably,
you
but
want,
if you
Where Johnny kills himself in the room. Sorry, spoiler. It's been, it's been
That's
out
true.
long enough.
Yeah. I mean, the first wide release. I'm gonna say actually related to that of the movies I've seen, near the end of The Disaster Artist, Tom Wiseau has a bit of a breakdown where it's not as it happens in the book exactly, but they're throwing ball in the park and then he tackles Mark and Greg, and there's a bit of an emotional
His
breakdown.
brother Dave.
Yeah. So that's probably, on top of the movie itself being surprisingly uplifting and inspiring. I'd say that scene probably jerked the most out of me. Otherwise,
It's an interesting way to put it.
the entirety of John Wick Chapter 2, because it just gave me a rush of adrenaline and just a fuck yeah. I'm gonna go with John Wick.
That's dumb. Yeah, I had a hard time with this one just because I couldn't really think of a whole lot. It's been too long since I've seen a lot of these movies too. First one, no surprise, from Blade Runner, when Kay kind of near the end runs, I think her name's Joy, right? His, when she's been reprogrammed or whatever, near the end, you kind of just seeing all that he's been through and lost, and kind of the one thing he had, and doesn't even recognize him anymore. He doesn't recognize her. Then I had the note in the wall thing from A Ghost Story. I don't really know how to describe it other than that.
Sure.
And then, did anybody see Call Me by Your Name?
Yep.
No.
The ending for that.
Yeah, the end part with the dad. I don't really want to give too many
that was-
spoilers,
that
but
was
we were
a-
kind of just
I had that on my list too. But
wow.
did you see that online, or did you actually go to the theater?
Actually
for
went to
it?
the theater.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I saw it after work when I skipped out on the Christmas party, or the Thank God Christmas is Over party that us retail workers.
The reason I ask is you
I was the only.
need to see that in the theater if you're gonna watch it.
Yeah, I honestly thought it
Preferably.
was just beautifully shot.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
I think
film.
it was. I
Beautiful.
assume it was actually on location in
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah.
You got a winner out of those nominees?
I've been on such a Blade Runner train. I think I'll switch it up and go Call Me by Your Name.
All right, so I've got 5 nominees again. My first one is the pregnancy argument with the full flashback and Stronger, which is the same one Jordan had. I'll try to say it without spoilers, but basically, the movies are centered around a guy who lost his legs in the Boston Marathon bombings. Mm-hmm. You get bits and pieces of what he went through until this scene, where you get all of it. And it's incredible.
Jake Gyllenhaal can act. That's all you need to know for that scene.
I already knew that.
The death scene with the cross falling over in Logan. Kind of the same scene in the Ghost Story when the house is destroyed and the neighbor
There's
ghost.
a lot of that movie you could probably pick. But
Yeah. And the neighbor ghost, what the neighbor ghost says before leaving.
I kind of just love that idea of the other ghost there.
Yeah. And another one you said when Kay sees the advertisement of Joy towards the end of the movie, and then the billboards are on fire and 3 billboards.
Yeah.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn between that and the deer scene.
Yeah.
Even though the CGI deer was a little distracting, but
Yeah.
I just thought that was a powerful moment.
It's tough because all of these were extremely emotional scenes, but I think I got to give it to Stronger. I think that's the thing that hit me the hardest.
The way I'm imagining it could be.
God, it's
fine with me.
crazy. Like the
I
back-to-back scenes.
when I saw that in the theater, man, you could hear a pin drop during that scene.
Honorable mention for
And it was half packed too.
Honorable mention for the scene in Power Rangers when they played the theme song.
It took a lot for me not to stand up and start clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good moment.
I think I did pump my fists up. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely did the Tiger Woods fist pump. But.
Yeah.
I think it said "fuck yeah" out loud. I might have. I don't know.
So
Jake,
you even know where you are right now.
I do agree with Jordan with the whole Luke and Leia scene because that was great just to see those two together for the first time.
And then the line she says, that you're here at the end.
Yeah.
Extremely fitting.
Yeah.
So.
They probably didn't even know that
No.
unless that was like his part was a reshoot.
Yeah.
Well, even so, it wouldn't have made sense what she was saying, or maybe it was just written.
Another one of
I don't know.
probably one of the most emotional scenes for me is from Logan, but not the same scene as. I really love the scene, like the dinner scene, where because this is the first time that Logan, X-23, and Patrick Stewart, Professor Xavier have had like a normal day in probably their years. And I love especially when Logan is putting Charles to bed, and Charles is kind of like this is the best day I've had in so long because again he's been mentally unstable for the last few years. Logan is slowly dying and accepting his mortality basically. I just love the fact that and also Charles has kind of been like a surrogate father figure to Logan, even though Logan's significantly older than him.
Dad is.
But I just like the fact that after all the things that they've been through, just to have a normal day, just eating, having normal conversations. Charles was like, "This is the best day I've had in years." Especially also because he may not even remember a lot of the days, weeks, possibly even years since he started to lose his mind. So I really like that scene. Especially even though the X-Men movies have been very hit or miss, it's still the fact that throughout all the bad and the good, Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman have always been the constant holding things together and been the highlights.
It's a very grounded scene.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
Logan's the best
watching
one of the X-Men movies.
Not even Deadpool.
Deadpool is a very close second.
Logan's better than Deadpool.
I wouldn't say that.
I would actually agree
Another
with that.
time, another debate.
But those are
Deadpool
my
wasn't
two.
this year, so
But those are my two most emotional scenes for me.
So what's the winner?
So I guess the winner is between Luke and Leia and Stronger. So
I
like both.
I didn't see Stronger.
Yep.
So I guess I'd vote Luke and Leia, but
That's fine with me.
I
Let's give Star Wars a
I
winner.
don't know how fair that. I don't
Let's
know
give Star
how
Wars a
fair that is. But
well, Star Wars might win here too. Best action scene. Rev, you're up first.
Ooh, yeah.
I had a lot of trouble with this one too.
It's a tough one.
There were some great ones in Logan. Samurai Cop, it goes without saying, was just amazing. Wonder Woman had some good ones. Don't stop, Dave, before you even say it.
Don't stop believing.
What would I have said?
The same thing you always say.
Actually, I had a big conversation with somebody about Journey tonight, but anyway.
Love that little guy.
He's actually kind of tall. The guy I was talking to, not.
Bit of
Talking
a
about the singer.
little throwing for a loop or whatever. Fist fight. Surprising, like
Actually, yeah.
like
5 seconds.
Never thought of that, but you're not wrong.
like people forgot about that movie, and rightfully so. It's not great, but
I thoroughly enjoy Charlie Day in anything, so
Yeah.
I kind of loved it.
and Ice Cube or whichever
Ice
Ice-T
Cube
is.
scene.
Yeah.
You don't confuse him with Ice-T for a minute, because Ice-T is the
Body
superior
kill.
ice.
Yeah, Ice-T is beautiful, but
Ice-T is a
the-
beautiful man.
the fist fight in Fist Fight is really good.
Surprisingly, yeah. Like, you would not expect that for a comedy at all.
It belongs in
brutal.
it belongs in a completely different movie.
It is brutal.
And it goes for a while. It's not quick, but it doesn't drag either.
You think a movie like that would be, they're leading up to the fight. They're never actually going to fight.
They fight.
No, they went for it.
Yeah. Yeah, a big.
Continue.
Yeah, a big like.
Actually, I completely
Thing,
second that.
yeah, a big thing with Fist Fight is
Nothing I would have ever thought of.
It kind of builds up where it's
You're
like
not
it's
wrong.
not gonna happen. You think the movie would be cliched, like, oh, we learned not to fight. No, they
Yeah,
fight.
I was really expecting that, but yeah, no.
They did good.
I love Charlie too, so whatever.
So that's my vote for
No,
Fist,
yeah, I didn't even
fist
think
Fight.
about that at all. Yeah.
The Fist Fight and Fist Fight.
Fist fight, fist fight.
So I'm going to say what probably the rest of
Creative.
you are going to say and go ahead and do it. Throne Room Samurai scene.
Yep.
Which,
Yeah.
besides
From
the
Samurai
whole
Cop?
Carrie Fisher thing, was the best part of that movie.
Yep.
I had the opening chase in Baby Driver. It was like kind of
That's a fun
also
one.
like
Yep.
the ending.
I actually
'cause
have that
where
too.
John Hamm was just awesome, and I love John Hamm. And then the one that is going to throw people for a loop is the killing of the sacred deer in Killing of a Sacred Deer.
They
Mainly
kill a sacred deer.
Mainly
Wow.
because I found that scene
Spoilers.
hilarious. Again, black comedy, not for everybody at all, but I thought that was one of the funniest moments in cinema this year. I'm probably the only person that thinks that.
When I was watching that in the theater, there was a group of like high schoolers or college kids in front of me
Not
that
the
were
right
just
age group.
yeah, and they were just on their phone the whole time and like looking up and laughing when something wasn't funny, or even during like the black comedy, dark comedy moments, like laughing
There was
like as a
not- yeah.
slapstick. So they were annoying.
I think I realized earlier in the film than I probably have in other kind of unexpected black comedies like that. And I don't know. I think I just kind of, and the more it was one of those two that I liked initially, and the more I thought about it afterwards, I just liked it even more.
I like it. Yeah, it's a good movie.
So yeah,
Good.
I don't like
That's
Colin
nice.
Farrell.
Yeah, he's quite an actor. Bullseye, Daredevil.
Yeah, just
Even though
so
they really stand out. Yeah.
Phone booth.
This kind of contradicts
Phone
what I'm
booth's
going to say a little bit later,
Let's
but yeah, whatever.
SWAT's a great movie.
All right.
Yeah.
So got a few nominations here. K versus Love and Blade Runner 2049.
Fine
Thought
with
about
me.
that. Yeah, I thought about that one, but
The flight at the end of Dunkirk by Tom Hardy's character Farrier.
actually, that was like maybe the best part of that movie.
Yeah. No Man's Land and Wonder Woman.
I knew it was
Oh,
coming.
yeah.
Superman versus the League and Justice League, and of course the Kylo Ren and Rey versus Praetorian Guards.
That's what they're calling.
Yeah, I'm,
Praetorian Guards, Black Series.
just to kind of go against
You have it, I assume.
just to go against the
Want to.
grain. I think the most, like the coolest scene is probably the throne room, but I think the K versus Love fight scene is the most impactful with the most stakes out of
Yeah.
any of those. So
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna go with that.
I thought you were gonna put the Baywatch when they're riding the jet skis.
No, that's okay.
Oh,
When The Rock uses that
I was way off.
bazooka thing or
Exactly.
firework gun or
When
whatever.
Zephron's doing his little obstacle course in the beginning of the movie to prove
Really
he can
surprised
be a
I remember
lifeguard.
as much of that movie as I do.
barely remember that
I need
movie.
to see this.
All right, Jake, you're
I'll
up.
watch it. With
So again, the whole trench no man land scene in Wonder Woman I thought was all really good. Although even like the opening battle scene on Themyscira I thought was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Also, again, Throne Room was definitely one of the highlights of Last Jedi because that whole scene was not only like just cool, but it was just really well choreographed, and yeah, those would probably be like my top two. So yeah.
Can't disagree there. I have the opening action sequence in Baby Driver, similar to Dave. I have the Raylo throne scene. I have.
Who's Raylo?
I like Raylo.
I have
Best ship.
not the best movie in the summer by any means, but the Atomic
Fight?
Blonde fight scene
Oh,
in the
yeah,
middle
that actually, yeah,
was really cool.
that was a really good scene.
The one from the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The one take.
the one.
Actually,
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
yeah, the one
The
take.
one with personal Jesus. I don't know if that actually carried over into the movie, but I noticed it was in the song.
I can't remember.
It seemed like Kanye was doing something
Movies-
over it or attached to it. That
movies
just
Saw the
very
one time
forgettable.
and kind of forgot, but I remember that one.
It did have good choreography in the fight
Then I
scenes. though.
have No Man's Land, Wonder Woman, and the shootouts in Free Fire.
did that come out this year?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, still need to see
Yeah,
that
I
movie.
really like it.
I didn't think the movie was all that great, but I liked the shootout. It was pretty cool.
Was Armie Hammer in that too?
Yeah.
Good for Army Hammer.
Yeah, I still don't think he can lead a movie. But I liked him in.
I like the
Call
Lone
Me by Your
Ranger.
Name, but
Yeah, I loved him in that supporting role.
Sue me. I like the Lone
he
Ranger quite a
wasn't.
bit.
I don't. Lone Ranger wasn't as bad as people say. That's for sure. But I don't think Armie Hammer was the best choice. I don't think he can lead a movie.
That's fair. I really enjoyed it in the theater.
Yeah,
Especially
I mean,
when the old theme kicked in and everything.
I wouldn't say it was. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for like the original, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I didn't love it or anything, but I didn't think it was that. Like before I'd seen it, I kind of just wanted to see it because people were like, "It's so bad." And it was just like,
Yeah.
not really. It's kind of long.
Tyler Winklevoss, man. I'll go with Raylo. Maybe.
I'm fist fight all the way, actually. So.
So it looks like our winner is the throne room scene in The Last Jedi, which is
Becoming predictable.
a really good choice. But
Fist fight's a close second, though, right?
Yeah, totally.
sure, I haven't seen it,
Neither
but
have
I'm
I.
assuming so.
Just watch the fist fight.
Okay,
Honestly,
fist fight,
Sure,
fist
it's on
fight.
YouTube. We could all watch it.
I'll
right
just
now.
search fist fight, and see what happens. So the next category is the best ensemble. Dave, you are up.
Let me find it here. And I'm pretty sure I already know what they are. Yep, I've only got two: Baby Driver and Logan Lucky.
Ooh, yeah.
Which one you taking?
Logan Lucky, baby. Yes.
That's another underrated movie, actually.
Love that movie.
I'm actually, yeah. I mean, as much as and honestly, Logan Lucky might be in more categories for me if it weren't for like that last half hour or whatever. That just didn't make.
Yeah,
It
Hilary
wasn't
Swank was
necessary.
bad
And
in
it
that
kind of
movie.
ruined.
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of. I wouldn't say it didn't ruin the movie, but like it was so enjoyable.
It was
up to
unnecessary.
That point, and then you're like, yeah, well, this is not
I didn't
good.
let it affect my viewing and rating, though.
I'm gonna go with Baby because I just as an ensemble cast, I think Baby Driver's better.
It's
say
one
what
of
you want
Kevin
about Kevin
Spacey's last
Spacey.
movies, anyway. So
It's the last like positively reviewed thing he's gonna do.
Yeah.
You
Unfortunately,
know what I'm going to
but
say about Kevin Spacey? He's great.
He's a
I like-
fantastic actor.
I like watching
He's a
him in
great
things.
actor,
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
person.
He's one of the greatest actors of all time. And yeah, I can't really say much about his personal life.
all right, let's move on.
Yeah.
I also had Baby Driver.
I love
Also,
me some John Hamm.
also Logan, The Post,
See
It, and the Meyerowitz stories.
Yeah.
Dusty Hoffman, baby.
I'm going to give it to the
Well, we're
Meyerowitz
not
stories.
supposed to like him anymore either.
I'm going to give it to the Meyerowitz stories because I think the three main leads are really great.
Yeah.
And you
I
know
agree.
the movie's great in general. So Meyerowitz stories.
It was. I mean, the whole movie was a surprise. But as I said, Sandler before.
Yeah.
So again, echoing Dave, Logan Lucky and Baby Driver had fantastic ensembles, but I do think,
Love Adam Driver in that.
yeah,
movie.
but I think Baby Driver again. I'll give the slight edge to just because I feel like with Baby Driver, like every character had like
Yeah, I think everything just worked for
yeah,
that movie.
and no one really like outshined the other. Everyone was pretty much like on
Great
the
Soundgarden
same.
song, by the way.
And But even still, like, more credit to Ansel Elgort's acting abilities. The fact that he was able to hold his own
I don't
against
know that
Kevin
I've seen him in
Spacey.
anything else, so I had really no
He's good in The
expectations
Fault in Our
for him.
Stars.
Yeah. I mean, he's good in it, but I wasn't expecting him to really shine
Yeah,
Baby Driver like
But,
he did.
again,
I thought he
even-
would be outplayed by the other people in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
even
held his own.
even if that was his first movie and like it's something like Baby Driver, the fact that he was able to like hold his own and not get like out, drowned out
You're
by
playing with Kevin Spacey and Jamie Foxx.
and John Hamm, John Bernthal, even though he wasn't in the movie a whole lot, but
Yeah,
it's still the fact that
he
like
was in Wind River too. He's the actor that's like been in a lot of good things, but he's barely a part
Yeah.
of any of them.
He goes to the set for 2 days and
Yep.
just travels from each movie.
It's
So he
like-
has like
it's
8
John
movies a
Bernthal?
year.
but
He's
yeah,
been doing good since he got off Walking Dead.
Baby Driver would probably be my vote.
All right, I've got 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Good choice.
A lot of good leads in that one. The Shape of Water, The Disaster Artist, and
Why did I think that one?
Daddy's Home 2.
Yes, that's the winner right there.
Maybe on Raw Talent, but I'm sure they're
You
not.
got
Mel
Mark
Gibson,
Wahlberg and Mel
Mark
Gibson.
Wahlberg,
What
Will
else do you want?
Ferrell, Linda Cardellini, The Hot Wife.
John Lithgow,
John
who
Lithgow.
is actually a really good dramatic actor
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, he
Best
is.
Dexter villain.
Yeah, he is.
So,
You Dexter fans
are you
out
giving it to
there?
Daddy's
Yeah.
Home too? That's your winner?
So
Is
am
Mel
I.
Gibson in the movie?
Yeah. Much like the last category where I was reminded of something.
The answer is yes. My answer is yes.
There you go.
Like Mel Gibson was in
All right,
that?
Rev.
All right.
Shut up.
I'm gonna say,
Daddy's Home 2.
even though I haven't seen it,
You would probably agree with
You
me.
will love
Yeah,
it.
I think you'd say Daddy's Home too.
Justice League, honestly, because fuck you, I like Justice League.
Batfleck.
Yeah,
He was the best part of that movie.
Logan and Baby Driver. But I'm giving it to Power Rangers
Yeah, Power Rangers did have a pretty good
because
ensemble.
it's a cast of like unknowns, relatively speaking, and
They did have really good chemistry together.
Yeah.
they all
that's
work
true.
together well. And Bryan Cranston is the cherry on top.
Yeah.
I'm giving it. I'm
Recently
giving
read
Power
his
Rangers.
autobiography.
All right, so overall, I think we can all agree that Baby Driver was the one we all agreed on the most,
Yeah.
And Daddy's
I
Home
agree.
too, but yeah.
and Daddy's Home too. And
Just an
Power
honorable
Rangers.
at least
Yeah.
an honorable mention for Daddy's Home 2, which
It,
is
it needed to get in the category
easily
here
the
somewhere,
best movie
so I had to throw
of
it
the
in.
decade.
All right, so since we're at an hour and a half, let's kind of speed through, speed it up just a smidgen, and this will be the hardest one to speed up through. The best comic book movie.
For us, maybe.
Yeah.
And I
So-
can always tune for them, but
I think there's only 4 that are worthy of being considered. Logan, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Wonder Woman, and Justice League. I think Logan is the best comic book movie because it is more like The Dark Knight in the sense that it's not really a comic book movie.
Transcends the genre.
It's more of like a Western action movie as opposed to a comic book movie. And I mean, I don't really have any criticisms of the movie at all. It's emotional and it really capitalizes on that R rating they wanted so bad and creative freedom, and they just knocked it out of the park. So Logan is my winner for the best comic book movie.
For me, again, it was between Logan and Wonder Woman. Like both of the movies, but yeah, Logan. I think again, it's one of those movies that for me transcended the genre and just like I already had high expectations, but I was just like, yes, this movie is amazing.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
I've got Wonder Woman, Logan, and Justice League. I'm going with Wonder Woman just out of the surprise factor of how good it was and how much I enjoyed it. And really was a big step for DC.
Besides that CGI disaster at the end.
Really a big DC.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was really good.
yeah.
Don't listen to what
Except
Dave
for that
says.
last
Wonder
part.
Woman was really good. I liked it a lot.
I agree.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, except that last part was just a generic, cliched CGI mess.
But the movie was
which
good though.
I think Wonder
undermines
Woman deserves that
what was
spot
so
you're
different
giving it.
about
I'm
the
glad
I do
they
too.
did the
the
nomination.
rest of the movie.
Was the movie good, Dave?
Except for
Was
that
the
last
movie-
part, yeah.
In one word, was it good?
In one word, was one word good.
It's a yes or no.
You just said one word. Not,
Yes or
not that
no?
it had to be.
Just say kind of.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right.
All right, my nominations, I guess, would be Wonder Woman, obviously, and Logan. I'm not gonna say Spider-Man, but I will say Ghost in the Shell.
You're technically right, actually.
Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah.
I think it's also, I probably should have picked this for underrated, but like it's not as bad as people say it is. It's
I don't think people were saying it was bad. I just don't think anybody saw it.
There's a lot of controversy,
Probably
but
a combo.
yeah. I don't know. People were trying to pair it up with Dragon Ball Evolution, and it's not on that at all. It captured the tone of the show very well.
Visually, very, very.
Yeah,
beautiful.
visually, like I felt like I was watching Ghost in the Shell when I watched it. All that said, Logan.
I wasn't super high on really any of the comic book movies this year, so I picked Wonder Woman.
What in
I
the
don't know if that
world?
surprises anybody, and I picked Guardians Volume 2 because that was just my other favorite one.
And Kurt
honestly.
Russell's in it. So.
Yeah, and I like Kurt Russell. And though I didn't even think
That's a
about
good
Ghost in
villain.
the Shell, but I'll go ahead and add that.
What's your
If I
winner?
can get an extra point, though, it sounds like it's probably going to be Wonder Woman,
Okay.
I think.
So you're going
It's
Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman
I-
or Logan.
I said Logan, even though I talked about Ghost in the Shell more.
We've got 3 for Logan and 2 for Wonder Woman.
I guess it's Logan.
All right,
Majority
so.
isn't always right. But it's the majority.
I mean,
There
I
you
like
go.
Logan, so I don't care.
All right.
As long as
So
Spidey
Again,
gets
it's not a
voted
bad
one.
movie or anything. I think I'm just burnt out on the character, to be honest.
That sounds like a personal problem.
And I don't. And I get
It's a
yeah,
you problem.
maybe a bit of a personal problem. But I thought the whole clone thing was dumb and a wasted opportunity. You could have.
I liked
had,
it.
I liked it too. I mean, it could have been
Let's move forward. Let's move forward.
any
It don't matter.
enhanced.
What's the next
So what's the next
category?
category?
Whatever. It could have been a more emotionally impactful character.
What's the next category? You can just talk over him.
the
What's the
Everybody
next
else
category,
does.
Regis? Come on.
next category is best reboot, sequel, or remake. Jake, you are up first.
Power Rangers, like
Wrong.
that movie, like was another one of those ones where, when they were like Power Rangers reboot. We're like, like I loved Power Rangers as a kid, but do we
With
need
Bryan
it?
Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston's like, we need this movie now because as soon as they announced Bryan
Probably in
Cranston,
it even less than he was in Godzilla, maybe.
No, he was in more. I mean, he was
I
just
don't really
talking head,
remember.
but
Yeah.
He was good. He's Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston.
I have It, The Beguiled, Logan, Power Rangers, and Blade Runner. So, really like Power Rangers, but I'm gonna go Blade Runner because it's great.
yeah, it was pretty great.
Riv,
So it's reboot, sequel, or what? Just-
remake.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was Power Rangers.
Man, we're getting more Power Rangers love
Yeah.
on this than I
Blade
thought.
Runner,
I'm really
It, and The
happy. Did
Beguiled.
you steal that from me?
And what was your winner?
I actually did because I only had Blade Runner and It.
I'm glad you did. I like
Power
it.
Rangers. No,
Blade
Dave's going with Power Rangers. 'Cause that's his
No,
favorite.
The
movie.
original Beguiled is better, but this movie was still
I
good.
haven't seen the original, but I was thinking I wanted to include it in something, but
Yeah,
I couldn't really fit
exactly.
it into any other categories.
That's how it was for Power Rangers.
Also, Colin Farrell. So.
So my nominees were Split, The Beguiled, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Logan, and Blade Runner.
It took me a minute. I was like, "What is Split a reboot of?"
Spoilers.
Sequel to
Something.
Unbreakable.
way
So
better than that movie.
I'm gonna
I
go
feel
with
like that's probably a controversial opinion. Apparently, but
Blade Runner because it is the best of that bunch.
yeah, there's
So-
no question.
So we got 3 for Blade Runner and 2 for Power Rangers. So that
I'm
was
really happy with Power Rangers.
very, very surprising category.
Don't care about Power Rangers.
All right, so
They don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
the next category we have
It
is
wouldn't, even if I did like them.
Yeah,
Next
they did.
category. Just
Ne-
talk. Just talk. Over him.
okay. Next category is best documentary. So Jordan, I'm gonna let you start off.
It's my
Jerry
favorite.
before Seinfeld, Jim and Andy, and Long Shot.
Didn't say that.
All comedian / somewhat Seinfeld references. And I'm going to go with Jim and Andy.
Jim and Andy. Riff.
Pass.
Okay.
I've got Jim and Andy.
That's a good one.
I was struggling with this because I couldn't think of any documentaries I've really seen, but I don't know if it's kind of cheating. It is more of a docu-series, The Keepers.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched
Used
it.
Catholic high school
It's
in
pretty
the
good.
70s. I think it was maybe 6 or 7 episodes. Jerry before Seinfeld. And this is really cheating because technically this is a TV show, but it was an hour and a half season finale of Nathan For You Finding Francis.
Okay.
In my opinion, the best show on TV right now, and also by default because I don't really keep up with anything that's on TV. It's an underrated show. It's, if you've heard of it at all, it's probably it's the Dumb Starbucks guy.
Dumb Starbucks guy. I haven't heard of it.
You should look into it.
So
It's
what's
great.
what's your winner out of that category?
Nathan, for you?
Nathan, for you.
I did really enjoy Jim and Andy and Jerry, of course, but the only problem with Jerry is that I'm surprised I have any faults with it, but it's kind of the same old material. I feel like his only other HBO special, well, this wasn't an HBO special, but his only other comedy special was basically the same premise, kind of telling all his old jokes.
Yeah, the only thing he's really added
only
now
fault
is
I had
he's
for
married
that,
and
but-
has kids, so that's
Yeah.
the only thing he's made significant implements to his
Yeah.
routine, and they're still hilarious. But
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from.
Brilliant singing live.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It didn't make it into my
yeah,
nominees.
kind of a
Yeah.
neck pit-
You're the
neck
documentary
pit-
guy,
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
If you hadn't guessed by your gift earlier, I'm a big Seinfeld fan. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand that. So my best documentary nominees also have Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. I also have Long Shot, Strong Island, Icarus, and I'm Not Your Negro. So
I am.
I'm
So-
surprised you beat me to that one.
so this is a pretty solid
Someone
year
would say
for documentaries overall.
I shouldn't have. But
I actually
when
think
does that stop, man?
I'm going to give it to Long Shot. I think
Okay.
I was most impressed by it because it was 40 minutes long.
Yeah, extremely short.
Oh, the Larry David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
the
that
twist
was
of
cool,
that
yeah.
and how things are
That was
resolved,
crazy.
along with the emotional story from the guy who
Yeah.
actually went through it. I thought it was awesome for what it was. I do think Strong Island's probably the most emotional one I saw. Icarus and Jim and Andy were both super interesting. I'm Not Your Negro was pretty good, but it was. I felt like it was kind of stuff I'd already seen in other documentaries, so it wasn't quite as unique as the other four. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Long Shot. Jake, do you have one?
I didn't see any documentaries, so I'll go with whatever you all want to go with.
Nathan, for you.
All right, so
Seinfeld,
Yeah, I also support Seinfeld.
that's the only one. That's the only one that really sounds like something I'd watch. So I'll
Wasn't
vote
Jim
for
and
that
Andy
one.
on all the lists though?
yeah, Jim and Andy was on the list. So,
I'm fine with that too.
all right, we'll give it to
Really-
Jim and Andy.
Really interesting.
It's on Netflix, so go watch it. If
Man
you
on the
haven't.
Moon.
Jim Carrey's psyche.
So the next category is best score / original soundtrack / music, because I don't feel like differentiating between the three.
Thank
I
So
only have two, and they're the only acceptable answers for this category, and I think at least three of you could guess what it's going to be.
Well,
all right,
who goes first this
you
time? Me?
do.
All right.
Yep.
Star Wars because it's John Williams.
Thank you.
Baby Driver,
Thank you.
and Baby Driver wins.
Thank you.
Okay.
Neither one of these could win, but the last song Chris Cornell released before he died, "The Promise," or that one scene in Molly's Game where they played "Say Hello to Heaven," the Temple of the Dog masterpiece.
This is the theme.
All right. So which one would you pick as your winner?
"The Promise,"
Promise. Okay.
even though I actually like the song "Say Hello to Heaven"
Both good choices.
better, but Chris just died, so.
Honorable mention to Wonder Woman because.
Honestly, didn't have one of the only themes I even remembered. I
Yeah.
couldn't even think of a score that I even remembered.
I like the. I also like the Justice League used a bunch of old Batman song and old Superman
Yeah.
song, even animated Batman song
Yeah.
made it in there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's in there.
My nominees were Hans Zimmer / Benjamin Wallfish for Blade Runner 2049, Daniel Hart for A Ghost Story, Hans Zimmer for Dunkirk, Stephen Price for Baby Driver, and Rupert Gregson Williams for Wonder Woman.
The research.
I went to
You and Rupert go way back.
I went to IMDb. Yeah. I actually think the best use of music probably is in A Ghost Story. There's actually a particularly good scene with Rooney Mara listening to a song that Casey Affleck's character had made, and throughout the movie, there's different musical cues, and then kind of the climax where the ghost is in an office building. The music really builds to that
Yeah.
final piece of the scene. So yeah, I'm gonna go A Ghost Story as my pick. Jake.
Baby Driver and Blade Runner 2049 because I love, again, Blade Runner 2049. The soundtrack feels very much like it's still like kind of 80s, a lot of synth and stuff like that. But again, my God, Baby Driver's like that soundtrack was just fantastic.
I agree. I have Star Wars, Call Me By Your Name, and Baby Driver, and I'm gonna give it to Baby Driver. This also goes in with editing, but just how the way the music flows with the gunshots
scene
and
scene.
the scenes, and just how perfectly meshed into the movie. So that's a bonus for me with picking Baby Driver.
That'd be my
There you
vote
go.
as well.
So that's our winner, Baby Driver.
Only complaint is they didn't play Baby Driver by Kiss.
All right.
fair.
So the next category is best cinematography. Dave, you're up first.
I think I know who's gonna win this one.
You're wrong. Gotta find it. I don't know where it is. Okay. I sort of alluded to this earlier, but Call Me By Your Name. Basically,
yeah.
just kind of has
Perfect.
like two settings, but like I want to go to Italy now. Like it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful country. Like
It is.
it just it looks
Super
it
friendly
just looked
people.
fantastic. Dunkirk, because that's an accomplishment, and the one that Jake was probably alluding to, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is your winner out of those three?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah. That's
Can't go wrong with
I mean, I want to shake it up, but at the same time,
That's
it's
just
like
too
come
good to
on,
pass up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the most stacked categories, in my opinion. My nominees are Roger Deakins for Blade Runner, Andrew Droz Palermo for A Ghost Story, Hoyt Van Hoytema for Dunkirk, Eli Bourne for Super Dark Times, and Thimios Bakatakis for The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Surprised that made anything
Yeah.
for you.
I mean, like,
I'm glad.
visually it's a cool movie. It's just not something that's my cup of tea. But
That's fun. It's not for everybody.
got to give it to Deakins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deakins is my
Deserves
vote.
something finally.
Yeah.
Give the man an Oscar already, Academy.
Yep.
I say it's
Please.
his 14th
Yeah.
nomination.
And if you don't give it in this year, don't worry, we got your back, buddy. You got a Pasty / Maldives.
Yeah.
Pace.
That's
I've
almost
got
a
Or whatever
Blade
this
Runner
is.
as well. Good Time, The Florida Project. I would include Call Me By Your Name as well, and War for the Planet of the Apes, and Blade Runner's going
War
to
for
win.
Planet of the Apes is really good too.
I didn't see Blade Runner, but I'm assuming it's good.
You of all people would love it.
Understatement of the year, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, Ghost in the Shell was pretty cool with that. John Wick, because it's John Wick.
Yeah.
Samurai Cock was just amazing. I might have accidentally just said Samurai Cock. Whatever.
That's fine.
Sequel.
It was gonna happen
I'm
eventually.
gonna give it to Blade Runner even though I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I like that.
You will agree once you've
Because
seen
We
it.
wanted one full sweep.
Because what's
Yeah.
the point?
Honestly, if you've seen one of the trailers, you could
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
say
just
Blade
judging
Runner,
on
there you
that.
go.
And just a still
Yeah.
of a scene or something. Would, you
Yeah, I've
would
seen
know.
those
There you go.
things, so there you go.
Perfect.
So Blade Runner swept the category first time. Yeah. All right.
Probably won't be the last, I'm guessing, but
I want to thank all the white
So-
people.
The next category is best screenplay and it's original or adapted, either one.
I'm glad we
time with this
just
too.
combined everything.
Yeah, it's too much effort to look and see which one's which. So my nominees are Hampton Fancher and Michael Green for Blade Runner 2049, Aaron Sorkin for Molly's Game,
Ooh.
Noah Baumbach for The Meyerwood Stories, Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon for The Big Sick, and Liz Hanna and Josh Singer for The Post. I'm going to give it to, and I'm going to go with the cliched answer of Aaron Sorkin, because I do think it's probably the best written movie.
I mean, I didn't.
That was
I
good.
thought he was like my first thought, but at the same time, it was like, that's kind of cliche. I didn't want to add him, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that dialogue is.
Yeah, it's great. And I would say The Post is probably my runner-up, actually, in that category.
I've seen it.
It's really great. It's one of those good talkies.
Hmm.
There you go. Yeah.
They're making talkies now.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049 would be
That's right.
one of mine, but I think I'll actually go with Big Sick just because I want to show some more love for the Big Sick because I love
did
that
not get
movie.
the hype for that movie.
Shut your face.
Again, as I told you before, Ray Romano is the best part of that movie.
Yes,
Because
he
he's
is.
an R-rated Ray Romano, which I find hilarious.
He is phenomenal. Jordan.
I've got Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Get Out, The Big Sick, and Lady Bird. And this is a tough one for me actually, but
That's a good category this year.
Change it up. Go with Big Sick.
I was thinking that, but let's give Lady Bird some love.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would second that. Actually,
Thank you.
it's not on my list.
But Ray Romano's not in that movie.
Rev.
But is he not?
It could have been.
I'm gonna say Logan, Samurai Cop, Baby Driver, just because like, how would you even write that? I can't imagine.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I'll give it to Logan. I mean Samurai Cop.
Blade Runner 2049, The Disaster Artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because honestly, it was like
Thank
super
you,
close
Blade.
to the book.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously there's some things that are changed, a bit more Hollywood-guised.
Actually, I'm seconding that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
thought that
again,
would be
just
what
like
it
a
is.
great movie overall. I really
No.
enjoyed it. Was possibly my most anticipated film of the year. And I had Raw because I wanted to throw that in
Yeah.
to another thing, and I just like I liked the story and just that ending was. It's not surprising, but it kind of like recontextualizes the entire film, and I was just like, that's kind of amazing. So
Who's your overall winner?
I don't want to say Blade Runner again, so I'm going to say Raw.
Well, okay.
I can
And
get
nobody
behind
else is
that.
going to say it.
So we all picked different movies.
It's good to change it up.
I think we all voted for Blade Runner. So
Baby Driver too was on.
And
a
Baby
couple
Driver
I would
was on
agree.
the list.
I would be fine with Baby
Yeah.
Driver.
And Big Sis.
honestly. I would accept it.
all right, we'll do co-winners. That's fine.
Well,
So
no, let's do Baby Driver. All in favor?
okay, 5
Yeah.
votes.
Unanimous.
Baby Driver wins. So
We
best
all liked Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I think we can. That's a fair compromise.
best supporting actress. Jake, you were up first.
I would actually give it to Holly Hunter in The Big Sick because, I mean, the whole cast I thought was really good.
I
But
didn't like her character, but she was good.
yeah, I liked her character well enough. But yeah, I think she really. I'm actually kind of surprised she didn't get nominated because she's one of the Academy's she's the favorite of theirs.
Darlings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be my vote.
I also have Holly Hunter for Big Sick. I have Laurie Metcalf, Lady Bird, Allison Janney, I, Tonya, and I'll go Laurie Metcalf.
Alrighty.
Supporting actress, I'm gonna say Daphne Keane and Logan.
Sweet.
Another good pick.
I had Ana de Armas from Blade Runner, Laurie Metcalf, and Allison Janney. I'll probably go Allison Janney because I just like actively despise her character.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
perfect in that role.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I despise that character, but I mean it's a brilliant performance.
All right, and my nominees are Ana de Armas for Blade Runner, Daphne Keane for Logan, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, and Beanie Feldstein for Lady Bird. I'm going to go Laurie Metcalf as well. So I think she was.
Beanie Hill.
I'm not really sure who that was.
Jonah Hill's sister, her best friend in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know he had a sister. I know his brother just died.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a sister.
So I guess our winner is Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah.
There we go.
With it.
She was really good.
All right, best supporting actor. Jordan, you are up.
I cheated on my first nomination. I did Woody Harrelson / Sam Rockwell just to combine 3 billboards.
That is cheating.
Harrison Ford, Blade Runner, Armie Hammer, Call Me by Your Name, Michael Shannon, and Willem Dafoe. And I'm picking Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project.
Alrighty.
Riv?
I have one, just lost it. Supporting actor.
Do you need me to read it for you?
I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
Just say Harrison Ford.
Sure, why not? Chris Pine and Wonder Woman.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I've got Richard Jenkins in Shape of Water, Barry, I think this is how you say his name, Barry Keoghan in The Killing of a Sacred Deer, because he was just weird. And
Sounds
he
right.
was freaky.
Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. for
Yeah.
Ingrid Goes West. I'm going to pick Richard Jenkins.
I like Shannon better as the supporting actor.
I had
Not
him
that
as-
they were
I'm
both.
gonna, spoiler, I'm going to have him as lead actor.
Okay, well that
'Cause
works too.
He is, well,
There-
yeah, you kind of could.
You could also
Yeah,
ref-
Richard Jenkins could have
reflect
been
it.
the lead.
Yeah.
Well, I might have messed up there, but that's what I wrote
I mean,
down,
they're
so-
both good in it.
Yeah, I
That's-
wanted
that's what we
Michael
can-
Shannon deserves an Oscar for something. Like
All right.
he's so good.
And he's from Lexington, Canada.
Yeah.
So my best supporting actor nominees are Ben Stiller for The Meyerowitz Stories, Patrick Stewart for Logan, Ray Romano for The Big Sick, Jason Mitchell for Mudbound, and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. I think, and I'm just gonna say because it's my favorite, is Ray Romano. That's that's my pick.
Fine with that.
Jake, you're up.
Ray Romano was really good, and there are a lot of really good actors to pick from. But I mostly went with Patrick Stewart because I feel like he's
old.
This is the best performance I've seen him in.
He looks great.
And-
He's old.
Yeah, but like, and he's always been like everyone knows he's always been a great actor. But like, he really shined in Logan, and again, a lot of that is just the fact that his history with the X-Men franchise, but just in particular, his performance I thought was great.
He was better as Walter Blunt.
But the fact that he hasn't been nominated,
No,
I think is kind of a shame. So Patrick Stewart is my vote.
Saw the first season.
Good choice.
Saw the second.
I'm also cool with that.
Is
So
way better.
we didn't have a across the board vote here. We all picked different people, but
I'm cool with Logan.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
All right.
I support Patrick Stewart because we're best friends.
Patrick Stewart for
Me
Logan.
too.
I met him.
All right, so next category is Best Actress. And Rev, you are up first.
Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman.
All right.
She was good. And she's really hot.
She is.
Like, really hot.
Both things are true.
Yeah.
Dave?
Margot Robbie, Tanya, Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards, and Aubrey Plaza, and Ingrid Goes West.
Who's your winner?
Probably Frances.
Okay. My nominees were Jessica Chastain for Molly's Game, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, Taraji P. Henson for Hidden Figures, Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, and Meryl Streep for The Post. I'm going to give it to Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards. Jake?
So the movies that I saw, there wasn't really like a whole lot of like super stand-up performances from actresses. Not to say that
You
any of
hate
them were
women.
bad.
What you're saying is that you're a
Clearly.
horrible misogynist.
Obviously.
And you should be the president.
Yeah.
You walked into that one, bud.
This is an award show. I gotta stop and talk about politics for a minute.
Obviously.
I hate
Where's
men.
Meryl?
The president's really dumb. He's got stupid hair.
Actually, we were thinking about running for president
Yeah.
more recently.
Yeah, so vote for us.
Because if Trump can do it,
As long as you
yeah,
talk like
literally
Dick
anybody
Nixon.
can.
Yeah.
I really hope Oprah doesn't run because then I'll unironically vote for Trump.
No worries. Me and Dave will run.
We haven't decided which one.
Doesn't
we're
matter.
gonna be,
It'll
but,
yeah, doesn't matter the
We
order.
figure we'll let the people decide.
Yeah.
you know?
All right. So, which man did you pick for Best Actor?
We're running into time.
You know,
All
I'm
remaining men, please.
just based off people. I'll go with Saoirse Ronan. She's good. I like her. She's Irish.
She's
Okay.
Irish.
Didn't even see the movie, but I'll go with her.
I think it's fair.
I have Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird, Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards, Margot Robbie, Tanya, Jessica Chastain in her outfit and assets in Molly's Game, and
Absolutely.
Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman. I'm gonna go Margot Robbie, Tanya.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
It was a tough decision between those two. But
Margot, Frances, and Saoirse were the 3.
yeah.
Saoirse Ronan was in The Host, so I'm okay if she wins because just that's so awful.
You got to start somewhere. I
And
guess.
to come up from
People
that,
need paychecks.
Yeah, to come up to that for being like such a highly in such a short time because like the Twilight actress took a while.
And she's pretty young too. She's like our age. I
Yeah,
think.
she jumped
23.
right off the Host into being good.
So,
She was old.
looks like the winner is Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards. Because David
Probably gonna win the real Oscar too.
Yep.
That's okay. I think.
Yep. All right, Dave, you're going to go first for the Best Actor. We got 3 more categories to go.
Okay, again, Michael Shannon, Shape of Water. Again, he kind of interchangeable, but James Franco and The Disaster Artist, James McConaughey and Split, and I just had to do it. Ryan Gosling and Blade Runner.
Sweet.
Who's your?
His subtlety is.
Mhm.
It's Franco, right? I mean, it's like the performance is the movie.
Yeah, it's Franco.
All American
My
Guy.
God.
I'm not afraid
From
to
Nolans.
stand behind James Franco.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be, but I'm not.
You should be afraid if he's standing behind you.
All right, so
I have different feelings if he's behind me.
Alleged, and I don't believe it. Just like I don't believe the Stanley ones.
Well,
Stanley was accused of grabbing some titties. I don't
he's
think he didn't
like
do it.
93 years
He's
old.
old,
Probably
man.
has
Yeah.
dementia.
Deserves.
Yeah. You kind of
He created all these comic books.
doesn't-
Let
yeah.
the man have some fun.
It doesn't make it right, but at the same time, he
You
doesn't
kinda know-
have his mental faculties.
You kind of know what
like,
you're getting into being a caretaker for a man that old.
Yeah. And he
Who also
like,
just lost his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's only going to live like 3 more decades, so just
Yeah.
let the man live out in the beast.
Excelsior!
We here do not advise sexual harassment or endorse it.
No, but it's getting a little ridiculous, is all I'm saying. But
There was no evidence.
again, he's
Due process,
he's a 93-year-old man.
I'm not in favor of witch hunts.
Just lost his
I'll just
wife.
say that.
And
All right, Liam Neeson.
So my nominees are Jake Gyllenhaal for Stronger, Hugh Jackman for Logan, James McAvoy for Split, James Franco for The Disaster Artist, and Adam Sandler for The Meyerowitz Stories. I'm going to go Jake Gyllenhaal because I think he gave the most emotional and well-rounded performance out of everybody this year.
probably the movie that I haven't seen. I'll probably try to seek out first.
I too will go with Franco, McAvoy, and Hugh Jackman. Yeah, I'll go
What's
Franco
Franco?
because again, the fact that he was able to play the
Hot
weirdness
doggy.
that is Tommy was so spot on is impressive.
All right, Jordan.
Daniel Kaluuya, Get Out. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour. James Franco, Disaster Artist. Andy Serkis, War for the Planet of the Apes. Jake Gyllenhaal, Stronger. Love Gyllenhaal, but Franco's going to win this one.
Okay, Rev.
He doesn't have a chance at the Oscar now.
Yeah.
Huge Jackman and Logan. Except he wasn't huge or jacked in this one, except when he was a clone. Keanu Reeves and John Wick 2, because that's just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, as a performance, he did do his own stunts. So
yes, that's not
suck
really.
it, Dave.
And Keanu Reeves is
Suck it,
immortal.
Tim.
Yeah.
I respect him as a man. I don't
Matthew
think he's the
James
best actor.
McConaughey in Split, and it's Franco. Franco wins.
Sorry for breaking the sweep there for James Franco, but 4 out of 5 of us picked James Franco for Best Actor. So, all right, our last 2 categories: Best Director and Best Picture. So, Best Director, I'll go first here. My nominees are Steven Spielberg for The Post, Denis Villeneuve for Blade Runner 2049, David Lowery for A Ghost Story, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, and Edgar Wright for Baby Driver. And I'm going to give it to Spielberg. I think, the climax of that movie is a conference call, and he made a scene with just Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep talking in a cafe, super interesting. And I just felt like he was just showing off how good he is. So
I think I would watch those two just like in real life, having a conversation.
no, it's seriously impressive. So
I haven't seen it, but I believe you.
Jake,
Edgar Wright and Denis Villeneuve, but as much as I love Baby Driver, like again, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
My
it's-
God.
Yeah,
It's hard to pick against it.
all right,
I've
Jordan.
got Edgar Wright, Denis Villeneuve as well, Greta Gerwig, Julia Ducournau for Raw, and Steven Soderbergh, Logan Lucky. Gonna mix it up and go Greta Gerwig.
Alright.
I'm gonna say Chad Scalzi again for John Wick 2. Shut up, Dave.
Who's even heard of that guy? 'Cause it's not even a good movie.
I think the ability to direct action is oftentimes underappreciated, so I'll give a little nomination. to that one.
Disagree, but
Shyamalan for Split, because
it's definitely the best thing he's done in a long time.
Because let's face it, this is an indistinguishable category from Best Picture. It's just a way to do it twice. Edgar Wright for Baby Driver and James Franco for Disaster Artist, and I'm going Franco.
I have, of course, Denis Villeneuve for Blade Runner 2049, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, because even though I wouldn't say it's the best picture, just like that, how do you direct that? I mean, that's insane. That's an accomplishment in and of itself. And here's the possibly controversial one, but I think this was the ballsiest movie of the year and maybe of the decade.
Last Jedi.
Darren Aronofsky, Mother. The movie was insane.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Loved it. It is not for everybody.
Was Danzig's mother in that movie?
No, but
Then I'll have
I
no
didn't
part
care.
of it.
The Lissy cover's way better, my opinion. But whatever. I'm gonna go with Denis Villeneuve.
All right. So our winner there is Blade Runner, which I think is
Yeah.
probably a precursor to this next category. So,
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, they're the same.
I'm at least
category, yeah.
glad Blade Runner is getting love on some award show.
Yeah.
so
the fact that it wasn't nominated for
Best Picture.
is obscene.
Jake, you get to kick us off.
Blade Runner 2049, no surprise.
What?
The Big Sick and Baby Driver and The Disaster Artist. Yeah, Blade Runner. Because how do you? As much as I loved all the other movies, it's like how do you compete with something as beautiful and as masterful as Blade Runner?
Same.
Yeah, it's like I want to shake it up.
You got
Blade
It's
Runner.
like I can't.
I had Baby Driver Get Out too, but there's just Blade Runner.
All right, Rev.
It's the only person who hasn't seen Blade Runner. Not that I don't plan to or want to, but I just haven't done it yet. I got nothing against it. The Disaster Artist, Baby Driver, The Last Jedi. I'm going to give it to The Last Jedi because my vote doesn't matter right now.
All right.
Just
Blade
like the real
Runner,
election.
Raw, and Mother.
Are you going with Blade Runner? Yeah. Okay. And my nominees are Blade Runner 2049, A Ghost Story, Dunkirk, Logan, and The Post. And I have to give it to Blade Runner. It is the best movie of the year, for sure. A Ghost Story, close second.
I don't know, it's pretty neck and neck here between The Last Jedi and Blade Runner.
Wait, sorry. There's been some mistake here. It's
The Last Jedi,
I
you
think
win.
a Ghost
Last
Story
Jedi.
might have made it into mine, but I need to watch it again.
Pretty sure The Mummy won Best Picture, didn't it? Or Blade
And the
Runner?
actual
Or maybe
Oscars,
it was Baywatch.
Bill Samurai
ask
Cop.
Warren to get the card back.
Yeah.
See if
Baywatch
Warren
won the Golden Globes, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so there you have it. That's our
Yay.
Mouldy Pasties, whatever you want to call this award show. And we're
It's
right
the
at
most
2
important
hours,
award
so.
show.
There you go.
The music's
Someone
coming on in
matters.
the back. We gotta hurry up the speech.
Yeah. All right, do you want to go through promoting again? Or you just want to say screw it and call it a day?
I think I'm good
night,
on my
good luck.
side. You people know where to find me, and if you don't, who cares?
That's right. It'll be in the show notes anyway. So, and we'll make sure to have.
Spoiler alert, one of us might be getting nominated for something next year.
Oh,
Oh,
president maybe?
I don't know
Yeah.
who it is, but
and
it's
we'll,
not me or
I'm Reverend
Phil
Spaceman
or,
and I hate Islam.
or Reverend Spaceman or Jake.
all right, and we'll leave it on that cliffhanger. So, thanks for listening to this behemoth
Give
of
us
an
your
episode.
list, people.
Yeah,
Please.
Yeah.
tweet us your list because that'd be fun, and
Or
we'll
deliver it to us in person.
I'll try to figure out a good
You
way to
can't-
post this
Jake's
list.
gonna post the our names, addresses, and social security numbers in the
Yep.
description if you want to deliver anything to us. in
Or
person.
steal all of our information.
For the Pasty Pale P.O. box, we call it the PPPO.
What do we-
That's not a thing.
what do we-
It is now.
PPPO?
Yeah.
Quad PO?
Sure.
Yeah. Someone end this before we just keep talking.
All right, so on that note, thank you for listening to this.
And I'm so
Later.
Thank you.